Good evening, one and all. It's Sunday, it's the end of the week, and it's time for us to jump into some more good old Warframe. And today it is very clearly a Gara day. Welcome everyone, hope you're doing well where you are around the world. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful time. Let's see here, we've got, oh, would you look at that?
Wowza 9 already King Yi Poke Snack ML7 party.
It is indeed 9 already. I was Red. Thank you very much for continuous support here with 9 months of that lovely tier 1 right here on the channel. Much appreciated. I hope you're doing well. Random Demon asking how am I doing? I'm doing alright. Hope you're doing well yourself as well. Absolutely. From Doom Elf. Hello, I want to ask about the Peacemaker formula. Is the current one in the wiki or the old with conditional increases? I don't know, is the simple answer on that. I don't know. Because every time D make changes, we don't know if they've made just those changes or other changes. I need to go ahead and actually check it myself, quite simply. So I just don't know. I just don't know. But yes, we're going to be having a look as to what can be done with Gara today. We've had Ash, we've had Atlas, they've both had their respective streams. Ash has his own video now, so we have Gara next to mess with. Cosmo asking, did Doughty on Gara get changed or something? Oh yes, it did, because previously Doughty was skinning off of the weapon you had equipped, which would just be the weapon. Now we have a multifunctional weapon, Shattered Lash or Shattered Lash Prime. And that has 2 different modes with 2 different damage types. So if you had a Doughty build before now, and I put this together to kind of demonstrate this effect, you can see down here the arcing one is a 3.2 times critical multiplier, whilst this one has 11.9 times critical multiplier, and that is entirely down to melee Doughty. And the difference in base damage there is because of all of the puncture bonuses. We've got puncture bonus here, puncture bonus there, puncture bonus there, puncture bonus there, all of that adding up in opposition to slash bonuses. So that's just demonstrating the effect. Gara pseudo exalted? Yeah, absolutely. Gara is one of those changed with the most recent update, with Tekra Encore, to have a true exalted. But yeah. On a range of Atlas to Ash, how much of this will this be? No way to know. No way to know. We'll just have to go through. As obviously, for some reason it didn't click how big Atlas's AoE was. Didn't expect it to be bigger than Influence now. It's pretty large AoE on it, and yet still Influence is my final pick for Atlas. It's kind of weird, but it is my final pick for Atlas. Because either you're one-shotting and therefore nothing else matters, or you're not one-shotting and therefore the most reliable arcane of all of them to give you value matters. It was a weird one to me, but that's how it works. That's how it works. Coda Joker saying, can't confirm that both Archon Stretch and Arcane Fury work on the Exalted. Good to know. Do I have an Atlas video planned? I do. The next video will be Dan, who has a very big update to share. But after that, it will be an Atlas video, yes. So Dan first, then Atlas. And if we get something nice out of Gara today, then we may also have a Gara video. Now again, just like with the Ash one, it won't be full guides on the frames. I don't want to go into full dives on those frames, but I will be looking as to what can be done with their Exalted. And granted, with Ash, it's pretty much one thing, you kill. With Atlas, it's one thing, you kill. With Gara, there is more. Gara has more to it, because Gara doesn't just have Shattered Lash, Gara has Splinter Storm and Mass Vitrify. Both of those interact with the damage output from Shattered Lash, but I need to double check exactly how. I think the tickets are booked. I may have forgotten to hit the start button on that. There we go. There we are. You can grab your tickets now. My bad on that. Blame the people who keep trying to claim tickets before stream starts. It just makes it feel weird to have the giveaway ready. But there we are. Now, that puncture setup that we saw there, that is not what we actually want to be using because of the changes, because the puncture one is still a puncture one, it's not really that great. So we'll be looking at what can be made of this otherwise. Kelton requesting an orange background today. Okie dokie. Is that a nice orange or that one? That one looks more orangey to me. We'll do that one. There we are then. So let's get on to the testing stage, and to do the test let's start by removing our companion and go from there. Don't care what's going on in region chat, quite frankly.
You are a true hunter.
They patched out to working on slash mode already? I know. Yeah, I saw that one coming as soon as they announced the changes to Pseudo Exalted on the dev stream, which is why I talked about it the way I did in the Melee Doughty video. We already know that one is just gone. Alright then. So, first things first, let's just do a swipe of some enemies and see where it is unmodded, just because it'll be funny to start there. Yep, that is indeed damage with slash procs. Some of them appear to have not been hit, or was I looking at that one wrong? No, that looks about correct. Okay, cool. So yeah, it turns out unmodded, sold all damage. That's what you expect, that's good. But it also gave us 20 combo each swipe, which is also good. So that gives us a base to work from. The question is, can I use Router here? Nope. Router does not seem to want to interact. Alright, so that is out. That is out. Okay then. Next thing I want to test is interactions in terms of scaling up both the 2 and the 4. So let's get this down to just one enemy. Yo, Mythic Spirit, thank you very much for dropping your prime here once again. Up onto a very not prime 5 squared of monster support, 25 months, Mythic Spirit. Cheers indeed. Cheers indeed. Router only builds combo on the main melee. I just demonstrated that, yep. Isn't there a mod that gives combo count on slash status? Yes, there is. And yes, it may be relevant. We'll see when we get there. Give us time. We need to make sure we have all of the basics down to take it further, because DE have changed it into an entirely new weapon. How things interact can change as well. We need to see where all those basics come in. So, if we go for a quick little swipe, yep, we get 640, and it's just doing its thing. I have got far too much combo duration for this test, so let's get rid of that. Do not need all of that. Briefly broke the hell out of that bar, okay. Yep, 640. Wait for the combo. If I swing now, it should be 1280. Yes, it was. Cool. So let's wait for the combo to vanish, and we can verify further from there what we get. Being on Naramon is probably also not helpful for this kind of testing. At least not right this second. So let's switch off of that to Madurai. No, let's switch off of that to an Iru. Okay. So next thing to test is, if I pop this down and then do that, it took 1800 plus the 640. 1800 plus the 640. Okay. What we're expecting is 1280 base, and then what's the difference there? That's 520. Curious. Curious. If I do this a little further back. $1,800 exactly. Something I'm not picking up there. Coda Joga, thank you very much for subscribing with your Prime. Welcome into the channel proper, and enjoy your lovely ad-free viewing, your subscriber badges, all the rest of the bits and pieces that come with that. Cheers. Cheers indeed. So why is this 1800? What am I missing here? Either which one I use, it's 1800 on this enemy, unmodded. Why? Is Gara unmodded? No, Gara's not currently unmodded. So there could be other things interacting here. But if it is, I'm not entirely sure what. Let's switch to this, and because Doughty is dead to Gara, we can just dump whatever this was. We don't need it. So we can have a nice empty, nearly empty modding. I do have some Archon shards equipped onto this Gara as well, but that is absolutely fine. It shouldn't get in the way. It's a little bit of strength and duration, shouldn't cause anything unusual. So with our strength down to 120, we've got 960 damage there, 480 here. Gives 1350. Okay, that is weird. That is weird. So the difference between the stated explosion damage of 960 and the damage we saw there, 1350, that's a difference of 390, not 480 like I'm expecting, which is 81.25%. And previously it was doing 520 instead of the expected... What was it? I'll just go back to the build. It was doing 1800, whereas if 640 was adding to this, I would expect 1920. So again, 81.25% of this was being applied. Is that just how it works? Is this some kind of damage quantization? What's going on there? 20 on 3 red shards, 2 is strength, 1 is duration. That's what's going on there. Okay, so we're already off to a pretty perplexing start, but I'm getting 81.25% of the damage appearing to apply. Let's... What can I do to investigate that better? Going to say, if you finish your test and build, going to send the build I'm using, all the Warframe mods are interacting with the Exalted Weapon. All the Warframe mods are interacting with the Exalted Weapon. I'm not sure what you mean by that other than, yes, modding a frame affects the frame's ability. But Coda, if you want to send your build over, sure, why not? I will still be looking at the basics first, and unless someone can explain to me where the tooltip is for the damage carryover, I'm a little bit confused. Damage multiplier, that's going to be... What is that damage multiplier figure? So let's see, we're looking for mass vitrify stuff. Gara allies can refresh flint spawn's duration by passing your mass vitrify whilst expanding, irrelevant to us. Destroy with Shattered Lash when standing near it to increase its damage. To increase that damage, okay, but not irrelevant. Gains durability, shouldn't be relevant. And that's everything. When the enemy is glassed, they take bonus damage. Oh, they take that bonus damage because they're glassed. Okay. Man, that is really not clear. This is an odd one. Maybe the explosion counts the combo you get when you cast one? That still wouldn't add up, because if I'm going from 1 time to 2 times on combo, then I'd be going from 81.25% of damage being applied to about 40-ish% damage being applied. None of that makes sense. And the fact that it is a consistent 81.25 is concerning me as well. Yeah, it's 13/16. I don't know of anything in 13/16 in this game that should matter other than quantization because 16ths. Which is really weird. Yeah, so both took 1350 there. That is consistent. That's weird. Because that's definitely 480. And then when I do this with the double, so now it's 1800 up from 1350. So that is an increase when we have the combo. So we went from 1350 to 1800. That is an increase of 450? Yeah, increase of 450. Okay. Not 480. Not 390. It's... Is it using base damage of Shadow Lash not modded? Well, it's not modded for starters. We've only got some Archon shards in, but no, those numbers don't add. The arsenal tells me 960 base, and if this is just added to it, it should be adding in factors of 480. But the numbers I have with this amount of non-modding shards discounted is I'm landing 1350 with 1x combo or 1800 with 2x combo, which above this value here is plus 390 and then plus 450. If it's plus 450 both times, then that would mean the 900 total was being added, so the base of Mess Vitrify was in fact only 900. But this is neither 900 modded or unmodded. Forgive me if I missed the point. Could casting 4, 2 and 1 help? Whilst casting 2 would give us something to absorb damage into, we wouldn't know where that damage is actually coming from. Jade say, I think there's currently a 6.25% damage loss on both Splinter Storm and Vitrify because of quantization. So that would be a 1 in 16 loss, but I'm seeing a 3 in 16 loss on this being added to that, but then this add on the next combo and it's adding more than I'd expect there. You're saying 6.25. This did go up by 450, not 480. 30 over 480 is 6.25. Okay, well that would line up with what you're saying actually there then. Boy, hang on. So if it's adding 450 each time, then on the base of 1350, it was actually a base of 900, taking out this. But 0.625, or 6.25% of 900 is... No, wait, no, that's the wrong way around, Ken. We need to add it back in. Divided by 1 minus 0.0625. 960. Yeah, there it is. That's exactly what it is. That's so weird that quantization's kicking in here of all places. But yeah, the reason it's off by quite so much is because it's off twice. That is so weird. I hate quantization. I vaguely get why it exists, but I hate it every time it comes up. But yeah, Jade, you're absolutely right. There is indeed 6.25% missing for both of these. Ay, ay, ay. Mirror, thank you very much for giving us a sub over to Zomtronic. It's very nice of you. Zom, if you are around at the moment, make sure you thank Mirror for that. It's very generous. Cheers, Mirror. No idea, Ray, and there's no way for me to know. All I know is that damage quantization is a thing, and this game is therefore taking damage out of Gara because of it. So if I take that 1350, I divide it by 1 minus 0.0625, I get 1440, which is 480 plus 960. Yeah. So it's just 6% lower than the Arsenal states. Because. And I don't know if that always applies or what, but yeah. Again, raffle command is broken. Oh. Let's look into that. Raffle command says it's active. Let me refresh the bot. Raffle command still says it's active. That's weird. Alright. I'll forcibly deactivate and reactivate it. There we go. It wasn't on cooldown, was it? Nope, no one had said it recently. Bots. Ah. From Chipper saying, good morning, Engineer. You got me into Warframe because of Lavos. Hope you have a great stream. My pleasure. I'm glad you enjoyed Lavos, and I do indeed hope to have a great stream as well. Just dropping by. Maybe refresh a stream. No one should need to refresh a stream to get the bot to respond. No. The stream is not connected to the bot in that way. Okay, so let's look into this further. Now, Jay say, as far as I know, it applies to all damage on 2 and 4. What applies to all damage on 2 and 4? You've used that pronoun it, but I don't actually know what you're referring to. Aegir is still not getting a response from the bot. What's the cooldown on Raffle? Cooldown on Raffle, global cooldown is 5 seconds. Well, it's been more than 5 seconds. Aegir, can you try a different command? 6.25% damage loss compared to the displayed modded values. Okay. Okay, so ticker works for Aegir. Raffle's not working for... Yeah, Raffle's not specific to certain people. It listens to me, it listens to Ray, but it doesn't listen to the rest of you just for that one. What? I'm genuinely lost on this one. How the hell is the bot only responding to a selection of people on a specific command, but listens to everyone on the other commands? How? Nope, I'm lost on that one. I am completely lost on that one. I have no explanation and no solution. That has completely lost me on that one. Because yeah, I've checked every part of the raffle command. There is no limit, no restriction that should cause any of that. I'm lost. Yep. Streambot's just gonna streambot. Alright then, let's focus on Gara instead here. So, we now know for a fact that the damage is indeed applying very simply into R4. It's just there's a 6.25% damage reduction that does not apply when casting normally. The quantization is happening on the 4, but not on the 1 directly. Sure. Okay, so let's see how that interacts with the 2 then. We get the 2 active, it starts at 300, and according to the arsenal, it should actually start at 300. Good so far. Then if I add a wall to it, and then pop it, 300 went up to 1020. So by going up to 1020, that is an increase of 720. Why 720? Isn't it half the wall's explosion damage? Yeah, I guess pre-quantization, that is exactly half the wall's damage, yeah. That's
Good evening,
curious.
Smile.
Real Ed, good evening to you as well. Thank you very much for resubscribing here up onto 43 months. That's one hell of a lot of support. Thank you very much there, Real Ed. Much appreciated. Okay, so it appears that it's applying just half the wall's bonus. Sure. Half the wall's damage before quantization. 300, pop it. 1020, redo it. 1740, at least it's consistent in that regard. Okay, now what happens if I apply combo to that? We just pop down a wall now. Give that thing a hit. I now have 2 times effect. 2700 we've jumped up to. I forgot what we were on before. So it jumped up to 2700, and the expected gain would have been... Yeah, it was 1740. Okay, yeah, that makes sense then, yeah. So it's this, plus this, plus this, all halved, which makes perfect sense. Alright, cool. That's all fine then. That is all absolutely fine. It is just half of all of the non-crit damage there. So now let's throw in crits. Shattered Lash is starting here with a 2 times crit multiplier, so if we crit we do get a damage change, unlike before. Papa Tim said it should have been double gain. You went from 60 yen to 0 to 2 times 20. Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. It shouldn't have been double because we weren't doing double the wall. We were only doing double the Shattered Lash. The wall's base damage remained the same. So we only doubled part of it. Okay. So let's once again up this. We cast that. There we go. This time, do that for the crits. Still 720 increase. That pretty much guarantees that crits have no impact. There. Whereas we're seeing the crit is impacting here. I do the same again here. Cast that. Get the crits. 1350, no increase due to crits. So that gives us 2 different schools of modding. 2 different schools of modding, and they do exist at the same time on the same build, because the 2, the 4, and the 1 are all just kind of present. There is the modding which can build around crits, and around status for that matter. I have no reason to believe that status carries through. Yeah, there's building around crits versus the building around non-crits. If we build around crits and status, that is working straight into Shattered Lash. If we build around non-crits, we can also get the full power into the 2 and 4. The Splinter Storm and Mass Petrify. So that is definitely going to make use of these config slots to decide on which ones to use where then, yeah. The walls gain more health when they hit enemies? Okay. That's more health for the walls. Is that going to increase the amount of damage the walls do? I'm going to try and just get this first one in it. I succeeded, good. And then aiming away from them both. Yeah, still 1350 to this one. This one took more damage due to being frozen in glass, but it didn't buff the damage on the ones outside. So, did not affect that. It did not affect the amount of damage being dealt by the 4. It only affected how much damage was being taken by the one frozen enemy. Wait, it's on armor shields? What's on armor shields? Roman say, if I play Gara, I'll probably subsume Petrify Shuriken over damage reduction ability. Just hate its feel. Damage reduction ability. Are you talking about you wouldn't cast Splinter Storm on yourself or on enemies? I'm not sure what you're feeling. Well, the thing is, it's based on the armor and shields of enemies hit. Okay. The ring draws extra strength from the health and shields of crystallized enemies. It says health, not armor. Are you certain on armor? Actually, I don't need to ask if you're certain. I can just put down 2 armored enemies and see what happens. There we go. So if I jab one of you, 48, wait for the combo to run out. I got a crit, so fair enough, 96. But without the crit, it's actually 48. Yep, there we are. That's fine. So if I then, at a distance, cast this, ring damage is 149. Good. And if I do that, to encase you, but not the other one. Wait for him to definitely be fully encased. Okay. I need energy. Quick, 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 quick. Still 149. This one again took more damage because they're encased in ice. In glass. So it doesn't matter whether they have armor, health, shields, whatever. It's not increasing the damage. It increases the health of the ring, like the ability says. At least the ability wasn't lying about that. Fair enough, Rockman. Fair enough. Okay, so... Hey, congrats, Leslie. Taking it from there then, what are the potential directions we want to go? If we go for a non-crit approach, I imagine the damage is simply just going to be lower. Ray asks, any considerations for Spectral Rage? Is this purely about the things that can interact with Shattered Lash? Just the things that interact with Shattered Lash. I'm not looking at Gara, I'm looking at Shattered Lash. I know that might seem a little bit counterintuitive. How can you look at just one ability and not the entire frame? Certainly when I'm already considering 2 of the other abilities. But the broad point on that is I'm not wanting to do a full entire Gara guide. That's not my focus. I'm looking to make Shattered Lash work, how it works, where it can be implemented practically. Robin says, assume if you're running the classic Doughty setup, most people would probably run a crit chance subsume, since I assume it has multi-hit. Okay, you're making multiple assumptions in that for some reason. You're making multiple assumptions, not to mention, did you catch the bit where Shattered Lash is its own exalted weapon now? And so if you're going to use Doughty, that's only going to be on the puncture jab, which is, by the way, pretty shit. No one really needs that little puncture jab. Why puncture a single line when you can sweep the same range, but in a wide AoE, and get slash rather than puncture? There is basically no benefit to puncture other than melee Doughty, I guess. And melee Doughty, I guess, does not carry it. As we demonstrated, the crits do not carry over to the 2 or 4, so any kind of crit bonus that one can get with melee Doughty also doesn't matter. It's just no bueno. Yeah. Replace third ability with nourish, energy regen, almonds, blah, 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 blah. Not looking at the build yet. Looking at mechanics. I appreciate the excitement to slap nourish onto yet another Warframe. Slow down. We'll get there. Alright, let's see then. Now, as much as I hate to ask it, does it work with condition overload? Please don't. I just want to skip condition overload for once in my life, please. Please let me just skip it. Actually, I'm gonna... I don't know why I'm picking up the epitaph. That's hardcore priming. I want just basics. Oh. All this will do is put a magnetic proc, which will not matter to these ones one bit, so it's safe to test with. Okay. 48. Have some procs. Wait for the puncture to go. Any second now. 86. God damn it. Yep. That's applying correctly. That is indeed applying correctly. Oh boy. Okay. Now that's only going to apply to Shattered Lash. There's no way that can apply to Splinter Storm or Mass Vitrify. The reason being, I'd assume that, is that Condition Overload is a damage to a target. The target being the wall can never have status blocks on it, so it should never trigger. Let's see if I'm correct about that. Let's see if I'm correct about that. If I pop a wall here, and now we're gonna tickle that guy with some procs. Same damage. So yeah, does not carry over there. That's good. Okay, next question then. How does it work with pure damage mods? $127 without any proc being applied. Wait for the combo to go. 166. Yep, that is an additive increase. Cool. Condition Overload is additive with Prime Pressure Point, and by extension then one would assume any other pure damage bonus, because if those two are going to play Bonnie with each other, all of it's going to play Bonnie with each other. That's pretty much the canary in the coal mine for that. And where you get that pure damage from, then that is part of the question, isn't it? Not sure if Gara's 1 range scales the same way as Atlas 1 does with both ability range and melee range combo. I mean, it's really easy for you to find that out, just FYI. Like, it is really, really easy to find out that kind of thing. You just put the mod on and see what happens. So, yes, exact same. Exact same. Which means again that range modding has basically no use on the melee when you can do it on the frame, because we're currently unmodded, already at 12 meters. A 25% maximum increase is just not worth. Just not worth. Okay. Now, slash procs are something we could theoretically build into as well. But I want to take this first on a pure damage, non-proc, non-crit approach, because that's supposed to work in with the wall. If we're working with the wall, Condition Overload also doesn't matter. Is it range for both or just puncture? It's range for both. Neither of these say that it's just the puncture. I don't see why it would be. So unless you have evidence otherwise, that's just a range stat. So it's range for both. So if we're going for something to interact with a 2 and 4, we need it to be non-crit, non-status, maximum damage otherwise. If I put on a primed Fever Strike, I wonder how that's going to affect it. Let's start here, just see what numbers I get. Just remind myself on that. We have you. We're at 300. We pop this. He takes 230 and we go to 1416. 230, 1416. And then adding in this. $447 and 2465. So yeah, the Elemental mod is also doing a proper increase there. Went up to 2465. An increase of 2165. So we had 480 of which was from the ability itself. And then that's leaving 1685 from Shattered Lash. That should be the 480 multiplied by 2.65 multiplied by 2.65. Theoretically. And then halved. Yeah. Cool, that is working as expected as well. That is good. Do faction mods work with the wall? I don't see how they would. For exactly the same reason as Condition Overload not working, faction mods are specific to the target. So if you're attacking the wall is not Grenier, it's not Corpus, it's not Orokin, it's not Sentient, it's not anything. So there's nothing that a faction mod could trigger off of. Nothing. I don't know how that would interact with a universal faction buff of Raw, and I don't want to find out right now. Almost certainly there's going to be a better bonus you can pick up than Raw for this, though. Almost certainly. Alright, so. Melee damage applies. Toxin, another elemental applies. Crits don't. Attack speed doesn't. Status won't. Faction doesn't. The fuck is left? So that's not going to matter. That's just initial combo. It functionally does not matter. This can't matter because it's crits. Yeah. Do they take bonus damage from viral status? Sure, Ray. Let me know when you apply a viral status to the glass wall. Let me know. I suppose you can go with Buzzkill mod. Or if you're going to jab at the wall, then you go with Auger Strike, whichever one. You just focus on one of them. I'm good, thanks, Melody. I appreciate the offer, but not going to go down that road today. It does feel like there's basically nothing other than just physical element pure damage. I think that is it. I think that really is just going to be it. And so in which case you might as well focus on whichever one is more convenient. I feel like the jab is probably more convenient. Even though the slash can do slash procs, I feel like the jab is just quicker. I'm going to validate that thought. Maybe if you invert tap hold, the slash will be quick enough. There she is. I mean, given you then need to recreate a new wall each time, that's quick enough. So yeah, you can go the slash. You can go the slash. That's fine. Yep, also no, the slash wins because you need to hit an enemy to build combo. Absolutely valid point. Completely valid point. Yep, slash is 100% the winner. Slash is more reliable to hit. To hit enemies, yes. To hit the wall, if you're missing the wall with a tap, you did it wrong. That's a skill issue one. But yes, in this case, Gara, slash is absolutely fine. I'm going to switch back the tap hold just out of experience for now. But yeah. Johnson is saying, surprisingly, at 125% cast speed, the sweep is better than the jab. When you say 125%, is that plus 25 or plus 125? Versus That's curious. It does feel like it boosts, yeah, boosts the slash speed, but barely improves the jab speed. I can feel the speed on the slash, but not the jab. That's a weird one. That is a weird one. Okay. Stinky Thief saying, probably have listened 100 hours in this game, but I could listen to Kenjineer talk about this stuff all day. Cheers, sir. You're very welcome. You are very welcome. Is the stab hit scan? Oh, good question. Better question, is it going to be relevant? I'm not sure it's going to be relevant, I'll be honest. Use Maduro to buff speed casting? Sure, if you wish to do that, that's fine. If you're aware of it, you can use it. As I'm saying, note 1 is one-handed, so the cast speed on jab doesn't matter that much to begin with. If you're doing things other than just jab glass, sure. If you ever intend to shoot your gun, then it matters. If you don't, then it matters less on one-handedness. To explain the effects on cast speed, I'm not that particularly invested to care about the minutiae of the why there's this effect on cast speed. When it comes to practicality, what works is what works. That's good enough for me. Alright, so... I think, unfortunately, due to the lack of interactables in this circumstance, I think it really does just come down to element slash win. So I could just do North Wind, because then I get viral, so if I land a viral proc, I'm just massively increasing the damage they can otherwise take. And then just slash. Just slash. Could consider putting in Relentless combination. Not sure that's really going to be necessary, given we want the enemies just dead. Jagged Edge can absolutely go into there. In terms of damage, we've got Spoiled Strike, but then what even goes into the last bit? Range? Doesn't even seem needed. That's new tested with new Exalted? Yep, because you never know what works and what doesn't, because DE doesn't know. We have to find out for them. Electric for Archon Stretch? I suppose if you really want Archon Stretch to be in there, you can do that. Yeah. Nothing wrong with it, I guess. Bam. Have your electric. Job done. In terms of the arcane for something like this, first of all, there's no way that duplicates should be happening, and second of all, that's on crits, we don't even want that. Frictions, irrelevant. Doughty, irrelevant. Exposure, there's nothing wrong with that going in there, it's the basic answer. Fortification, if you want the tank. Influence, shouldn't matter. Retaliation, shouldn't matter. Yeah. Sticks, we'll get there. We'll get there. Does holding for slash count as a heavy attack for Exlanted? Wow, you had a fun one with that. That's like how I type on mobile. Does holding for slash count as a heavy attack? No. It's just an attack. It's not a heavy. Melee Vortex, kill enemy affected by magnetic for chance to pull enemies towards them. I just don't like this arcane in general, I'll be honest with you. They are. Can Gara use the armor gained from fortification? Yes. Gara tanks. Gara does not go invis, so armor can be relevant. Not sure what else to say on that one for you. Yeah. Now, I think melee exposure is probably the only correct answer on this one. Petra, I don't understand your question. You've just asked, can Gara use the armor gained from fortification? Yes. Yes, because Gara can have armor. I don't understand what you're actually trying to ask there, other than a build, which we're not looking at a specific armor tank build at this point in time. I did mention, yes, you can use it, and that's the entire thought. I'm not sure what you're asking. Armor also gives the wall more HP? Practically irrelevant, we're blowing it up anyway. So yeah, in terms of getting the wall to shatter usefully for us, this seems like about it. And then we just scale up combo and see what explosive power we can get from it. Alright then, bringing this over to Gara herself. You thought Gara was an invincibility frame? Oh, no. No. This was not set up for Splinter Storm. That duration is only 7 seconds, that's no bueno. This one is a low strength one, no bueno. This one, what was this one? This one looks like a balanced approach. Not cheap on the arcanes, but it looks like a balanced approach. Ready, steal, begin with initial combo, that's cute. Sure, why not? That saves us 1.2 casts. Oh dear, how things have changed. But it's efficient, it has the duration, it has the range, it has the strength. As a base to just work from for testing purposes, it feels workable. Let's see what happens. If combat matters to Exalted, will Zoris? No, nothing about that whatsoever, because Zoris isn't Shattered Lash Prime. Shattered Lash Prime has its own combo. And for that reason, I'm going to re-equip the things which give combat duration. Or do I go with Naramon? Let's do a bit of both. There's Dexterity, excellent. Despite it not working, let's just re-equip Router anyway, because I think it has Dexterity on it. Yes, it does. Very, very good. Let's switch this back to Naramon. There we are. Yeah, the whole melee weapon affecting your ability is gone. That's kind of why we're here with Gara again, because it's now its own separate thing. Your melee just doesn't matter. Wouldn't Steel Charge be the better aura? Steel Charge is indeed a damage boosting aura. You are very correct. Right now, not going to mess with that too much. I mostly just want to see what this is capable of. So let's start with some nice lovely weak enemies, some shuffling fragments, and scale it from there. Did Router work with Exalteds before the change? It worked with pseudo-Exalteds before the change, yes. Exalteds, not certain. I think if you had them active, yes, but not certain, I can't go back now. Does Steel Charge even work? Yes! Because I've gone from 24 to 44. Just because it doesn't show doesn't mean it ain't there, yeah. Alright then. And multiple hits does not increase the combo gain per swing. So I might as well just... There we are, full combo. Now let's see about exploding it. And I'm going to pop it right here. Okay. Alright. So we have some capability. Let's see how high that capability goes. Can it deal with these armored elite lancers? Now granted, I've just lost a little bit of combo there, so let's just get that back. That guy can go for a fall. That was the wrong hit type, by the way. I should be using Slash. Did not kill them. And the ones that are dying of status procs, I think, got caught in the edge of my sweep. Interesting. How far behind me does that sweep go? Quite a bit. And it only seemed to be the guys on the right-hand side. Yeah, what the hell? So it's sweeping from what? Here, around to here. Nope, nope, that one got hit. And this one got... I don't know how that works. That was near enough 360 degrees, but also one of them seemed to keep dodging it. So... I don't know. Unaffected. 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 Affected. Yeah, there's just this corner I can't hit. That's just got him stunned. And that hit him. That's so weird. That is so weird. So there's a roughly quarter angle, but not quite. The Gara doesn't hit. It's not a simple cone in front of her. It's this weird sweep. That's... What if I change shoulder? Oh, don't... Well, that didn't hit, because I can tell by the reticle. Didn't hit. That hit. I think I killed him. Shit. Let's place ourselves right here. I think I was here before. So yeah, some stunned over there, blinded, but not hit. I just do that a few times and then see who's surviving. It's definitely this corner here. When I'm stood here looking that way, it is this corner here which is unaffected. Everyone else died. But that includes these ones close to me. Huh. That's a very narrow angle when you think about it. That's a very narrow angle when I was looking this way. It looks like it's like... Yeah, we're saying 7 to 9 o'clock. I think it's like 7 to 8. Because 9's there. 6 there. So it's 7, 8, 9. That's a very narrow angle. The way to test this further will be to stand more in the corner and take it from there. Do I have any recommendations for the Grendel missions? Yes. Lavos, Spore Lacer, Valence Formation. Enjoy your massive amount of toxin damage. Okay, so let's get the angle from here. If I just do this a few times and see who's left standing. Okay, it might also be a range thing. Well, if I spin around now, the ones that I hit now should be the ones that were in range but out of arc? No. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. Unless I'm doing a close AoE and then a distant 9 to 6. That's probably it. Close AoE and a distant 9 to 6. Do I have a recommendation that isn't Lavos? You can go for Hildren, because Hildren has some nice augments. And doesn't need energy sustain. Otherwise, I'll be honest, those are my top 2 recommendations. Is it some weird LOS check? Oh, yes, it's just what is the LOS check? And I think it is a close AoE followed by, or alongside, a full range 9 to 6. I think that's what's happening. And if that's the case, if I stand over here... Let's check, what is the distance to that guy? So that guy is 22 meters away. My ability has a 19.2 meter range. I need to get a little bit closer. But then that's going to think of this. Okay, here. There. This should hit and kill everyone. I can't help but notice there's some people alive to my right. Have they ended up out of range? No. What? The range is inconsistent. The range is inconsistent. That is the answer. The arc is not a perfect circle. It is not a perfect 19 whatever meter range my ability said. 19.2. How does ping show the distance? It shows the rounded down distance to them, roughly. When you get very close to the ping, you'll notice some weirdness. It's like here it's got 1 meter, 0 meters, but that's because it's at my head. If I ping right below me, it says 2 meters. So it's not perfect in that regard. But if it says 19 meters, something that has a 19.x range should hit. I think is my... near enough anyway. It's close enough that when I span around on the spot and could hit the enemy, we knew they were in range, but the fact that I didn't hit them before shows there's still a change in the range. So yeah. Is there a difference between left and right of Gara? Maybe the glass sword retracts near the end of the arc? Well, we've already seen that there is, because back left wasn't hitting at all. Back right was. Outside of the immediate close burst AoE, so the way she's bringing this out, it feels like it starts at a short range behind her, swings out to an increasing range as it comes around her, and then the range decreases again once it comes out of her field of view off to the right. Which is weird. As I say, it feels like increasing the cast speed too much starts to rotate the arc clockwise or something, which is interesting. I have no idea how that would come together, but sure. JDS gave, does it even matter for the current build we're testing? The wall explosion uses walls LS for its damage. It doesn't matter for this specific approach, but it's still very interesting to know. It does still matter. So I ask you, what's the command for allowing a link from someone? There is no command, it just works. I just don't make noise about it so that people don't start spamming links here. But yeah, no command actually needed. It's been that way for a while. Don't the whips do the same thing? I don't know, I haven't measured the exact arc on whips. Papatim say, it sounds realistic, but why would one program it like that? Welcome to DE. They put all of the effort into the strangest of things. The strangest of things. There we are, Fluffy. Okay. So Gara casts in a weird spiral. Nah, what shape is that? Gara casts. There we are. Gara casts. I think we can all agree on that. We don't need to describe it any further than that. That is the shape Gara casts. I hope I can get away with that one in the video. Is that going to be enough information? Is everyone going to be happy with that? Oh, I hope so. Oh, God, that's a fucked interaction. That is weird. It's the shape of a half oval? It's not even that. I'm gonna have to draw this, aren't I? Hold on. I'm gonna have to use something even more painful than Notepad. I'm gonna need to open up Paint. Let me quickly fill it up with black before we switch to it so we don't melt people's eyeballs. Alright then, paint time. I'm not moving the camera. So we have... so we have Gara in the center. Good old Gara. She's a white spot now. And what one would expect from Shattered Lash would be either a cone, like so, or whatever angle it is. We'd expect maybe it'd look like that. Or maybe it would be from some angle here to maybe like some angle there. either which way, we would expect that it would be a circle. So if I center this on a... something like that. I'll just correct the things that need correcting. Just, oh gods. So this is kind of what one would expect. But it turns out that's not what it looks like. Instead, the best that I'm getting here is that it looks something like... oh. Hey, the red. Something like this. This appears to be the area that she's hitting. Yeah. Gara praises Helix. Good lord. Fibonacci Gara? But no, it curls back in again. That's the thing. It's not consistent spiraling out. It's out and then in again. So like this description down here might be wrong. It might be like more that. Just... whatever. Good enough. Yeah, it's roughly more like that. The circle is off-center, your face is off-center. I honestly don't care about off-centerness here. If you can't see what's happening because of a slight off-centering, you are the problem. Come on, mate, it's paint. Maybe Gara's left-handed? What does that have to do with anything? Oh, yeah. That's just frustrating to look at. That's just frustrating to look at. Rather than it being a cone or a big old sweep, it's this. I mean, surely that was more complicated to code. If nothing else, surely that took more effort. I guess, except Shattered Lash isn't a whip. This is the weirdest bit of it all. I've seen multiple people talking about the whip. It's a fucking longsword. It's a sword, not a whip. So I don't know how that's supposed to work. Or why it was coded that way. But it is. Alright, well, we've learned that beautiful bit. We've learned that beautiful bit. Now, what does the ability look like with Remote Observer? Can't be bothered. Frankly, I cannot be bothered with that. Look up the definition of Lash, Ken. Is that what you're wanting to receive in punishment for trying to distract me even further? We can have you tied up to the ship mast, give you 20 lashes, and then throw you overboard anyway, because, can do. Could be a whip blade. Nope, it's a longsword. Gara's longsword. Anyway. What kind of damage does this actually give us? Let's just get our combo real quick. There we go. I mean, I've seen better. I've seen better. Now granted, this is with no ability buffs so far. This is with no Warframe Arcanes geared toward it. So there is room to take it further, but there's not a lot of room to take it further. Am I hitting with the lash and the wall at the same time? Yes. Yes, I am. How does it look if I put them inside the ult? They'll take additional damage, but I also have to wait for the ult to reach them, which is a DPS loss. And it's not even energy saving because you spend energy channeling the ult as well. So, it's all a thing. So where can that go, aside from just shoving more strength into it? Jay said, I mean, this is a set of building up storm damage if we hit 500k or so in one cast, that's good. It can also be a setup for storm damage, yes. But it's still just the whole massive vitrify nuke thing, which, if it falls off, then it falls off. I guess that might just be it. Just go melee influence? Yeah, no, that doesn't work. It works for what you're thinking about. You're thinking about the 1 as the damage output. I'm looking at the 1-4 interaction, for which it doesn't work. But I appreciate you're happy about melee influence. Or at the very least, you're excited to be its herald. But that's not what we're looking at right now. The easy answers are unimportant to us. If everyone and their dog knows that melee influence works, no one needs me to spend time looking into it. What I am looking at is very specifically the wall interaction right now. Doesn't her 4th, the more it expand, the more damage it deals? Where have you read that? Where have you tested that? Where have you anythinged that? Just so I understand before I start testing everyone's ideas. Let's now combo up with this. Okay, so now we have 300k damage on this. When new down episode? Probably Monday. We do this until I hit the 12 times combo. Oh yeah, I'm not going to hit any more combo if the enemies are dead. Let's go spawn some new ones in. Alright, full combo. And so at this point, they should just be perishing, right? Oops, I let it run out. I love losing the entire bonus because it ran out for just a second. Alright, well, we'll just rebuild it. So we do get like 180k per cast. Don't even need the enemies anymore. A little more duration for testing. That'll take too long. It's still not one-shot lethal on these. After all of that build-up, it's still 2-hit kill. That's a lot of build-up for something that's not killing. And I know that theoretically there's no limit to it, you can just keep going forever. These ones are all damaged, so it doesn't count the same. Well, that was weird. Maybe found a way to raise numbers faster? Damn, if only someone was doing that. I'm not sure what you think you're suggesting there, Zed. Other than, you know, cast faster, deal more damage. That's literally what we are kind of doing, aside from just adding on the cast speed. It's more a, how much does it take in the first place to even scale it? And it feels like to me that it falls off. Now granted, we're against armored level 200 enemies there, but that's armored level 200 basic enemies. To get all of that, to then get a continuous upkeep, small radius thing like this. I'll be honest, I've never been particularly enthralled with the whole infinite scale Splinter Storm, and this just adds to it for me. This really just adds to it. Alright, Woz. What do you recommend I change then? Go on, you've got the floor. You've suggested go from base damage to couple of millions in a single casting if possible. You have the floor. What's the one change I should make? What am I doing wrong here? I currently have Shattered Lash non-crit with 22.8k multiplied by the 12. You're asking? I don't see a question mark. So I get here, what, 274,332 theoretically. Add on melee exposure, it will go higher, but we're looking in the order of a few 100,000. It's all nice and well saying, just do more, figure it out. But it isn't that simple. It really isn't that simple. Void Strike buffs? Sure. The Dreamer? That's one word. It's fine. At least you've told me what kind of commenter you are now, so we're all good there. Yeah, Void Strike does run the risk of combo loss rate, you're absolutely right there, so that is certainly a trade-off to consider. That is certainly a trade-off. You can get damage buffs from things like Arcane Rage, I think it is. So that would also contribute towards it. You wouldn't be able to use Viral, wouldn't be able to use Condition Overload, you could get just additional strength buffs from whatever places may be relevant to it. Ultimately though, none of that's going to cascade us from hundreds of thousands into reliable millions that easily. Because you still need to build the combo, you still need to land the hits. And it does have to be without Helminth. There's no Helminth that's going to make that much of a difference. If you're about to suggest the Helminth of Raffled Advance, you would immediately be incorrect. Because we know that crits don't apply to it. If it's going to be something like Nourish, it's only going to be yet another elemental bonus. If it's going to be Eclipse, we're starting from a 30% base. Yumsbot say, hey, I can't figure out how to get the Arcing. I assume you mean Arcwing. I've done everything on Mercury, but I can't do specific missions because I haven't got the quest yet. Mastery rank 4. Which specific mission are you trying to do, Yamsbot? Is Naramon a necessity with Gara at this point? Not a necessity, but if you ever run out of combo, then you're going to lose, what, 11/12ths of your damage instantly. 11/12ths. Which is bad. What's with Raw? I don't know. Ask him. How is Raw doing these days? I haven't checked in on them in a while. Are they still having that beef with Eclipse? What is up with Raw these days? Eclipse's biggest contributor? Yeah, it's... There's only going to be so much you can get from that. You have 243% strength. Alright, so 243 times the 30% base, you get 72.9%. We're not even doubling. Also, there's one on Mars called Montiers, and there's one on Earth called Pro, but I can't do because I haven't obtained Arcwing yet. Okay, you need the quest, literally the Arcwing. Let me see here for you. I'll give you the non-spoiler information you're looking for. One moment. The Arcwing. Where is this unlocked from nowadays? Because they did change it. Requirement Saturn Junction? No, it didn't get moved all the way over to Saturn, did it? What? Sorry, I want to have a quick look. If a hit boss is locked, yeah. But that's separate. Also the MR4. Also, even at MR5, it's a doozy of a fight. Now that's complete the quest, Arkwing. Wiki! What you on about? Huh? What you on about? Lies and slander, El Wicarino. Lies and slander. There it is. So on accessing Mars, you gained the quest, the Arkwing, so you just need to play the quest, the Arkwing. That's it. And to play the quest, the Arkwing, what you do is you go on over to here. You open up main quests. And you click on the Arkwing. And you go ahead and play it. That'll give you access to the Arkwing. Simple as that. If you have gone to Mars, if you've completed the Mars Junction, and you do not have that quest, somehow, first of all, congratulations, you've broken my brain. Second, retry the Mars Junction, just play it again. If that definitely doesn't give you it, and you definitely do not have it, 100%, it's not there, you can't do it whatsoever, you're going to have to get in touch with support, because that'll be an impressive bug at that point. But yeah, completion of the Mars Junction is the way to get the quest. And doing the quest gives you the Arkwing. That should be it. What's rhyming? Once in a blue moon, it might just somehow figure that out, yeah. Hello, Mantis. Hope you're doing well today. Welcome on in. Yeah, I don't know why the official wiki is saying requirement Saturn Junction. That is weird. It's required for the Saturn Junction. That is so weird. Yeah. I'd edit it, but I can't be bothered right now. I'd probably break it, knowing me. Thank you, Ray. That's I appreciate that, yeah. Okay, so, in terms of the 2-4 combos with one, I think this is probably about as far as we can get. There's nothing that interacts with it further modding-wise. There's nothing helpful to us there. So yeah, oh my god. Wow. Alright then. Brief moment from that train of thought. Mantis, thank you very much for the 20 gifted subs. That's gone out to BuggyTech90, to Strasbourg90 Productions, to Robinyo, to Suzaku. Suzaku, I think, yeah. To Jimpy Oyabun, to The Cynic, to Alex Kalmov, to a Metalhead Paranoic, to Joe Bell, to Nuki202, to Kaltabi, to Dodo Crasher, to Zikos, to Schlagfuck, I think that says, to Bersinger, to Bad Monkey, to Kitos, to someone, apparently, to Sylphanis, and to Jiao Yao. Mantis, thank you very, 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 very much for the 20 gifted subs on the community here. Much appreciated. Oh. Cheers indeed. As I say, of course, Mantis gifts on the Gara stream. Is this the same Mantis? I'm not sure what you're referencing. Nope, I don't follow. From Clem. Yep, that is supposed to be pronounced Clem, it looks like. Clempe. This appreciates a message both the person who asked about the Grendel mission and the Kengineer for the answer. Just finished it with Hildren, saved me from much headache. Hey! Congrats on that, well done. Well done. Oh, since you've just done it, did the Grendel defense mission have 6 waves of defense or 10? Just as a matter of knowing on that. Gara's an Eve. Oh! Of course, yes. Yes, Zob, it is that Mantis. It is the Gara Mantis. It was 6 waves. Nice! Good, they updated that one, that's good. Simply Doctor say Raw and Arachne would be 2 multiplicative buffs, both double dip increasing at 1 and 4, but even with that, I'm sure if we get anywhere, it just seems massively cumbersome. I'll be honest, yeah, it does. Raw buff versus Eclipse buff, I'd rather go the Eclipse buff at that point, to be honest. Mantis, no, you don't need to change your name, it's fine. Everyone's got lots of things they're known for. You don't need to be named after every single one. Yeah, Raw Eclipse, one of those is just a damage buff. Arcane Arachne, it is a thing, but it's also, as you say, just effort, to be quite honest. When there's so many things that don't need anywhere near that amount of effort to get the work done, I do consider that Gara approach just effort, so I'll be honest, I'm gonna leave that one a little bit there. I'm saying Gara as a Mantis sounds cool as hell. Well, play FTL and name your Mantis pilot Gara. Makes sense to me. Roll wouldn't work because it's faction damage, like crit wouldn't apply against the wall. It should apply to the ability itself, but honestly, I'm not too certain. That's something I'm going to have to test just independently off stream, going through minor interactions. So let's name this one here, just so I know where I'm at with it. This is 2-4 combo. Oops, that's not a capital 2. 2-4 combo only. Okay. Because it's just... yeah. Yeah. Not a huge fan of it. Also, for all the slash modding on there, it's not even double the puncture. Fair enough. That's just what it is. Just say, I mean, 180 to 200k Casper rotation, decent enough. Fair enough. Well, at least I've got you something you're satisfied with. I'm not overly fussed with that particular approach, but sure. Can I send my Exalted Gara build in chat for you to take a look at? Yeah, sure. Send it through. I did say earlier you could send it, so let's have a look. What have you got? Would nourish, double dip, boosting Shattered Lash, and the explosion damage. The explosion damage, it shouldn't be weapon damage, it should be ability damage, so it shouldn't be affected. Oh, they're on Overframe? Oh, I thought you were going to send them in-game. God damn it. Alright, let's have a look here. Let's go to Warframe. Bang, bang. Okay, so looking first at Shattered Lash. Let me bring this up onto the screen proper for everyone to see. And if people mock you for it, hey, I'm not in control of them. You'd have me added in-game? Oh no. How will one ever send a message to the Kengineer now? Alright, let's have a look at this then. So, for the Gara's Shattered Lash setup, called OP Shattered, well, we'll see about that, won't we? We've got Prime Pressure Point, not fully ranked up for some reason. Tisk tisk. Blood Rush, Galvanized Steel, Weeping Wounds. My guy, is this a radiation approach? Let me grab the Gara build real quickly. Not seeing anything that keys off of radiation here. My guy, what's going on with that? Oops, you're bad. Okay, fair enough. It's not some special radiation tech. It was just a screwy. Alright. Fair enough then. Yeah, so that's supposed to be full electric, and then you're going melee influence, status damage, status chance, crits, crit damage, crit chance, status chance, combo duration, because sure, why not? With a little bit of status chance. I'll be honest, I'm not sure that this is necessary, given that dexterity arcanes exist, but if you want to throw it in there, why not, I guess? Why not? And overall, yeah, pretty basic stuff. Doesn't require you to do any priming of enemies, because you're using pressure point. Just does the trick. For the Gara side of things, Arcane Fury for the melee damage after doing a crit with a melee weapon, or just a crit actually, I think. Don't know if it means melee crit. And that makes perfect sense to me. On critical hit, 360% chance. Overframe. Overframe. Where's the 3 come from? Okay. What's on his one? No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. We've had enough of that discussion across various communities recently. I'm not going to say it. Alright. So, aside from Overframe just misunderstanding how numbers work. You've got yourself here 253 unconditional strength, goes to 313 when augmented comes online. Yep. You also say, just had to do a quest on Mercury for a heat sword. Thanks for help. You had to do a quest on Mercury to get a heat... Wait, you had to do Once Awake to get the Arcwing quest? That's weird. But hey, if it worked, it worked. Sod it. It works. You hate the way Striker and Fury are named? Oh yeah, that bugs me too. But I try not to think about it. Too many things are buggy anyway. Alright, you got Prime Flow, Archon Stretch, that's giving you energy regen. You've got Energy Nexus for more energy regen. Sure, why not? You've got Strength, Sod All Efficiency. I feel like you're kind of hitting yourself in the face here. If you go for the efficiency screw up, but then also Energy Nexus and Archon Stretch. I just feel like fixing a problem that didn't need to be created. But maybe that's me. Because, yeah. It still works. And if it works, it works. In terms of your energy regen, this doesn't seem to know what it is, but I'm fairly certain it is just 2 energy per second. So I'll give you 5 energy per second. Cast cost on this is 39. That's... okay. That's not a huge amount of energy sustain there. But it's fine. Oh, I see, Girioni. I see. It's been a while since those arcanes were changed. If that's what Warframe's doing, skip with the times. Arc works on Exalted Blade? I imagine it would, yes. As I'm saying, they dropped Nexus for Equilibrium. Option there, absolutely. I would consider Fleeting Expertise. I genuinely would consider Fleeting Expertise. Yeah, sure, you lose some duration. Archon Shards can patch it up a bit if you really need to. But that massive amount of efficiency is universal. You don't need to worry about energy orbs or converting orbs or whatnot. You just spend less energy, which then also makes energy regen options of any kind better. May the 2 potentially a little tedious? Maybe. Maybe, yeah. Again, Archon Shards can fix that a little bit. But yeah, it's mostly going to be about the right approach any which way you shake it. Mostly then it's going to come down to personal preference. Wouldn't Nourish be a better subsume to buff TF of the energy regen? Oh, to give you a lot of energy regen. There's no subsume currently on here. So you can absolutely use that as a subsume to give yourself that energy regen buff in addition to having the viral included in it. Not a terrible shout, to be honest. Not a terrible shout, considering there is 150% electric over here. And status chance just kind of out of the wazoo. What's the base status chance again? I think it was 20%? Yeah, I think it's 20%. So with this, that'll be... status chance here 1.2. This one, if you're really going to use it, is another 0.4. This is 4.4, which is why that's kind of crap. Yeah, 152%. You swear it's 30? Hold on. Hold on, let me go back. Just have a look. It's easier than guessing. It is 30%. I do beg your pardon. Okay, so with that setup, that was 228% ultimate critical status chance. So that's a very, very high proc rate, which means that having less electric than viral wouldn't be an issue. I think it's... is it 75% viral at base from Nourish when subsumed? I think it's 75%, but I'm just going to double check on that as well. Or maybe I'm remembering the old number. Oh, it's 45%. That's even better. 75 was the old number. Yeah, I said at the time that that reduction was actually a buff, and this is proving my point. So at 45% with a strength of about 300 odd percent, you're looking at about 130 or so percent viral, which is still less than the electric buff of 150%. So you still end up ahead. It's just a buff. Yeah, they tried to nerf Nourish and they really didn't. I honestly, without killing Nourish, I don't know what the best way is for that. On top of our proc retaliation, there's also that as well, yeah. Hey, nice hacker. Need to farm for Router, but done to Clover, farm twice, can't do it again. Hey, well, Router has fallen off in value in terms of Pseudo Exalted, so if you're farming it for that, it doesn't work anymore. Yeah. Archon Stretch doesn't require electric procs, correct, but Influence does. So that's why it's relevant there. Also, Influence spreads only elemental effects. All the slash ones won't be any bueno. Anything that can put more electric in is nice, but there won't be the Riven. These are probably the mods you're going to get, actually, yeah. I get you on, yeah. Raw damage has taken a hit there from 75 down to 45, but if you're using Nourish as a pure raw damage buff rather than viral insert plus energy regen, I feel like it's slightly missing what Nourish is designed for, but hey, it's fine. Yeah, we know this is supposed to be the electric mod, but it's otherwise fine. Yeah. Just say, I remember seeing that KMF said that reach increased AoE range of Kokora's Whipclaw. Do you think it'll be the same when Gara started Lash? I don't think so. I know so. It says so in the arsenal, and it was the same when it came to Atlas's ability, which we looked at in the last stream. For Ash, it doesn't matter in the slightest, because Ash works differently. For Gara, I don't know how necessary it's going to be, given what range modding one can have. This is a 235% range mod, by the way. $235? Yeah, it's 235. Archon Stretch being silvery white, not Archon, threw me off for a moment there. Yeah, 235. So with that range, this is already up to 23.5. Adding in Prime Reach for another 3 on that is pointless. That's just taking away a slot that could be something much more effective. You'll probably keep Raffle here and slot in Viral in place of Voltaic Strike and Drifting. If you go Raffle Viral, you're going to reduce the amount of electric you've got. It's going to be harder to proc that. It's still got plenty of status chance, but it is going to be harder to proc it. If you go over the 260/60s for the Viral, that would be 120. You could go for unranked ones and do 30%, but yeah. Warframe lists a sweep arc of 225. Yeah, so it does. 225. Well, that's not what we witnessed. That's not what we witnessed. Unranked 60/60s? Yeah, you probably have to go unranked 60/60s on that case. Still workable, just something to be aware of. Okay, so just kind of running all the thoughts in my head through all this slot then. If you did go that way, how would that affect the build? Raffle Advance rather than Nourish. I still wonder about the energy economy overall. No space for faction mod. Those are very good for influence if you choose to use them. There is that, yeah. There is absolutely that. You can shove in faction modding into there. A faction mod over Drifting Contact would not be a bad shout, to be honest. And skews the capacity, I guess. Although even that capacity info is wrong, because it's max 70, not 60. Sure. Companion mods for energy? Do they have much? Aside from just Synth Fiber, haha, Equilibrium go burr. Which is also a valid option. Death Cube? Okay, yeah, Death Cube exists. It's not amazing for it, but it exists. Arthur saying, can confirm you require energy beaters and high enemy density for low efficiency Gara. That's about what I was expecting, yeah. I'm going to use this, but not this. I'm going to take it a slightly different direction. Yeah, I'm going to go a different direction on this. Let me just fix this all back up. That goes back into there. That goes back into there. There we go. There's also duplicate mods. Clones have a chance to drop energy. Okay. Yeah, there is that. Jade said, I do have a clip of someone going from base Splinter Storm to 10.3 million in a single cast. However, it requires a Konami code series of buffs to activate. It's not at all practical. If it's not at all practical, it's not at all practical. I don't care what someone could do min-max in a hyper-optimized perfect situation. I simply do not care. And for the very simple reason that absolutely every single person watching the stream right now, and I do mean every single one of us, me included because my stream is on my other screen, every single person watching the stream is incapable of having such a, quote, Konami code series of buffs up for any reasonable length of time compared to just a workable build. If you are capable of that kind of thing, you wouldn't be watching my content. If you are capable of keeping up that series of buffs, you wouldn't need to watch a single guide of mine ever, because you're already at the top part of Warframe and can just slam through everything. You're fine. So to the people of here, we're here for something a little bit more practical, a little bit more casual. To look at using Steadfast. Steadfast could be an option, yeah. So, seeing as Doughty is dead, I can copy this over there. And let's take it from that position. Let's rename this config to Shatterer. Let's just, yeah, I'll come up with a better name later. Drop that, keep that, drop that. Drop that. Apparently we're not going to need all of that lot. Drop you. Former it. There we are. It's fine. I realise I probably could have moved the polarity out. Well, it's done. Alright, that's our 235 there. There's a Blind Rage on it. I need to have the aura first. Steel Charge. There we go. Blind Rage is now missing. This fucking game. Archon Stretch. I currently still have Raffle Advance on here, so we can see how that works as well. You don't think you can move aura polarities? You absolutely can. You absolutely can move polarities in the Aura and Exla slot. We will most likely be forced to finish this in October. Ah. Oh, the pain that discovery caused me. They patched that? They didn't patch shit, because we did it not that long ago, and there's the clip posted by Petra. All those Umbral Formers? Yup. Yeah. Was that Umbra Omni Uraeli? Yes. It was full Umbral Uraeli. And then something must have changed somewhere, somewhen, somehow, and made it where we can put Umbras where they shouldn't ever, ever, ever be. They are. It is no longer full Umbral because it turns out 2 more Umbrals can go on there. And that hurts. Do I think router could be a worthwhile damage option? Because kind of want to make it work. If you wish to, check out my router guide. I did a router guide, didn't I? Fairly certain I did a router guide. I did a router guide. I got you covered. Fair do, Jade. Fair do. Right. Good lord, that is a hyper combo of Orban right there. Put it on Shattered Lash. When you break Mass Vitrify, enemies struck by the glass suffer Splinter Storm at 100% strength. Now, when it says suffer Splinter Storm, are we talking about the damage from this, or just the damage multiplier effect? I need to learn about that Orban's at some point. But now, though, that duration is a little bit lower than we'd probably like it to be. The efficiency has been leveled out, which is nice. Base damage of Splinter Storm only? Well, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah, let's go with Elga Message. Just level out that duration there. Helps us keep this up. And then it was not Grace, but Rage. This you'd replaced with Augmented. We'll see how the energy holds up under that setup. Not using Power Drift here, so I'm missing out on a little tiny bit of strength, but it is fine. It is all fine. Now, we've not got the Energy Nexus regen for energy, but I'm using a much more efficient setup, which should counteract that concern. We've got my two just kind of placeholders for combo. We've got Naramon as well, so we should just have zero struggle with combo whatsoever. And then it comes to the Gara build. So the one you were using is honestly probably just about going to work. I do still think Drifting Contact, however, is unnecessary, but let's try and shove the rest of this together. Gonna have to throw a former down on this. Hopefully only the one, we'll see. So, Pressure Point, obviously Blood Rush, obviously Galvanized Steel. We're going to want to have that Shocking Touch. Going to want to have... Where is it? There it is, Weeping Wounds. And then it was... Voltaic Strike. What am I missing? Elementalist, of course I missed that. And not enough to put in that final mod, so let's put a Former over Blood Rush. Beautiful. So instead of Drifting Contact, because it's not necessary to us, I could drop Voltaic Strike and go for the unranked 60/60s, come to think of it. Which wouldn't have even needed a Former. Alright, Schnicks, you have a good one. Yeah, let's try that. 15 number of Former on stock, how do you even farm those? Play the game for a long time. They turn up. If I do... That's in the wrong place. Ah, that's a pain. Hold on. If I... Yeah. Yeah, move the dash polarity there. There we go. That gives me the freedom to place mods up or down as needed for type bonuses. Allows me to do that. Fair enough, Blissful. Thank you. Also paying with the hydrate. Cheers. And a Warframe Sensei saying egg for 10 bits. I have no idea why you're saying that, but thank you very much for the 10 bits. Much appreciated. Alright, I mean, this should just hit all the basic marks on it. Wait, hang on. Is that all the crit damage we're going to want? Yeah, it's still best in slot for crit damage. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. It'll be fine. Okay. Let's just give this a whirl, shall we? We'll slap on our standard go-to. Actually, no, because we're using a crit boosted thing, might as well throw in the crit support. The missing mod is assault mode, so it doesn't attack with Volclock, because I just don't want it to attack. I want it to just be there and literally be a companion stat stick. Let's give this a whirl. See what happens. The first that happens is it fails and we all mock me for being shit at the game. Let's start it off on a simple survival up here on Sedna. Thanks for the random PSA.
Your weapons make music, and the enemy calls for a song.
Mishan Bagin.
They're trying to choke you out. Hold on.
Alright.
I'm sending auxiliary
Let's...
support.
I probably should be able to just hold this location here. Well, damage. I might be overkilling them. Oop. Bonk. Yeah, that's killing. Now granted this is only level 130. This is just a starting point for testing. But it killed. It killed. Kill 150 enemies with a melee weapon. Yes, that is definitely what I did.
Prepare for life support.
No, I was too high for that. I can't angle Shattered Lash down. There was an Xmas there. I think I just knocked him off the game. Oh well, sucks to be him. Bap. Bap.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more.
It does look rather effective, doesn't it? Oh, you survived. Never mind. It looked like he survived, but then he remembered. He's dead. Thane of Gara, stairs. As a Lavos main, I fully understand. Ah. Oh shit. I saved it. It's fine. I always find that the difference between slash and jab with Shattered Lash just feels so imbalanced. If there's anything that could do with a lookout on Gara, it's why is the jab so crap? One-handed is not enough to rescue it for me. It's just not. Well, so I'm currently using hold cast on this. Let's switch to tap cast, make it feel a little bit nicer. I just have to remember that I've done this. You feel like jab needs a punch through? It already has that. It hits out to the full range. What it needs is to matter more than just that teeny tiny little jab area. So maybe if it exploded at the end of it, maybe if it had a lot longer range, maybe if it had more damage, maybe if it healed Gara or something. I don't know, something. Something more than what we do have. I'm starting to think Equilibrium might be a shout here for the heals. Although Energy Orb shouldn't be that common to be worthwhile for healing. I doubt that, what's it? Not Life Strike, the other one. Healing Return will be helpful here because we're killing them before the status really even kicks in. Good shit, gonna die. Yeah, I don't like frames where the tank just quietly runs out every few seconds. I don't have the means to revive myself. I am going to perish. Where are some easy to kill butchers? Oh, I'm dead. So adaptation on. I did have adaptation on before, but to accommodate the entirety of the builds that was shared with us, it was necessary to go without. No, don't spawn. Oh, I wish I could turn that feature off. I really wish I could turn that feature off. I have never felt like I've benefited from a lich spawning. I really wish I could just not have them jump into missions. I will summon them if I want them. You're unsure to use Nexus, Equilibrium, or Streamline? I would say, honestly, out of those, you would use Equilibrium. But I'm using Fleeting Expertise here. Yeah, I lose duration, although not that much in the grand scheme of things. But the bigger increase in efficiency is worth. Nothing worse than doing a stealth mission that lich spawns. Yup. What's that? I accidentally went down for the first time in weeks. Better ruin the mission. No, don't have... Well, at least accidentally heavy attacking an enemy doesn't cost me my combo. One of the unsung buffs of this update. You can't accidentally screw up Wrathful Advance. Not for Pseudo Exalteds. Oh, that vertical reach change though, that's beautiful. I can feel that one. How good is this at hitting through walls? I haven't actually checked that. Oh, okay. I, for some reason, was playing as if it was line of sight this entire time. Alright. Tech unlocked.
Efficient and effective. I take my lead.
No, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. Why did the... I thought I just cast my 2. Why was it out? I thought I just cast it. There we are. We cast. Maybe I accidentally cast it on an enemy instead of myself. Another annoying interaction where an ability has 2 entirely different functions based on if you just happen to have glanced at an enemy in the same process. And it's a non-refreshing ability. It has to run out before I can cast it again. And it's crucial. Use 4 to refresh 2 when it hits 5 seconds remaining. That feels more expensive, but and also just frustrating since it's longer. But you're right. I suppose that's the intended thing. Just do that rather than quick cast the 2. Just feels awkward. Especially as the 4 doesn't even pick up the goddamn crits. They'll be like, oh, but you're scaling the 2 now, it's going to deal more damage. My sword deals the goddamn damage. How much energy am I having to spend? Because they don't let me recast. That's 50, that's 75, plus the drain per second, yeah. It's not a huge amount more, but it is more. It is more. That's fine. It's a skill issue, something to get used to. I don't like it, but it is what it is. What companion do I mostly play with? I mostly use Worm Prime. The status, resistance rather than immunity, but resistance is nice. I accidentally just let my 2 run out again. It's just so quietly there. It doesn't allow a recast. It's got its tiny little timer. And if I forget about it, it only lets me know when it runs out. It feels like the ability is designed to laugh at you because, haha, you forgot a timer, get fucked. That's genuinely how it feels. You lose all of the damage bonus on it, you lose your defense, you can lose your goddamn life, all because, haha, you didn't notice a timer. In amongst everything else that's going on with Warframe. Oh, I'm out of energy. Oh, that's not good. Hi, yes, everyone please perish. I need energy, thank you. There we are. Yeah, maybe not stand in the area where they're all on stairs permanently. After all, you completely ignore what's happening in game. Your entire objective is to refresh you two of the wall, so everything dies on their own. I mean, they don't die on their own. You still have to actually hit them. Otherwise, you're waiting for them to get close to you, and that's usually ill-advised for health tanks. You know, you want to be killing, not just letting them do as they do. Not to mention, it is just better application of lethal damage anyway. Again, feeling the energy a little bit here, which is not great. In fact, I'm out. And as a result, my 2 run out. Yeah, the energy is still fighting me. Even with fleeting expertise, the energy is still fighting me. Can I have an energy drop, please? Do I have to rely on a guaranteed energy drop from a goddamn Xmas that's not even going to stack up because I don't have fucking... Fuck! I'm just going to leave the mission. Can I beat the timer to extraction? Yes, I can.
Very good.
Okay. Energy sustain ran into issues. Jade, we do still care about it because we still do have the 6.25% loss, but if we're lethal, we're lethal. Alright. So what way do I want to take this? Blind Rage would be a harsh loss, because as much as it's screwing up our efficiency, it's also giving us a shit ton of strength. No, Exalteds don't counter Mastery. Exalteds do not counter that. Equilibrium's probably the easiest solution to slot in, so I can do Equilibrium instead of Fleeting Expertise as an energy sustain that way. I lose my efficiency, but I do gain back some duration, and I gain the orb conversion. You run Nourish. Nourish is also an option, absolutely. Nourish would have to replace Raffle Advance, but it would absolutely work there. I could drop Augur Message. What do you call it? Words. Equilibrium. That would be putting even more into the energy sustain, and I would lose duration in the process. Not sure on that choice. What's the effect of Boost Rumble Intensify? Good question. It's putting it in 44%, which at full stack here, given I've also got 60 coming in from this, so this will be 318. 318 minus 44. It's a 16% actual increase. Why do I have Rage? Because I'm a 31-year-old British man. Filled with rage. So yeah, that is a 16% actual increase, which affects this and this. But that could be dropped. Over 30? I am indeed, yeah. 31 years old. Rapidly closing in on 32. Arcane Rage? Arcane Rage gives you melee damage, doesn't it? Oh, no, wait, I put on primary weapons, didn't I? How did I fuck that up? Oh, fuck's sake. That's the melee one. There it is. Alright. What's my skincare routine? Don't drink, don't smoke, don't do any other drugs, don't spend loads of time in the sun, and have lucky genetics. It's probably the last one, but no one likes to hear the first four. Fury and Blade Charger will both work. So Blade Charger requires you to charge it up, whereas Fury you don't. So there's that. Buy your sunscreen? Yes. Augur Message gives you shield gates on top of duration. That is true. It's definitely giving that benefit. Yeah. Now let's go that. This into here. Why did I drop the strength again? I had a reason. Yeah. So I can bring up the efficiency a bit there. I don't know if it's necessary to do it if I'm using Equilibrium, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for now. Bringing it in like that, I've got now a lot more duration, so this is going to last a lot longer. This is also going to last longer. This is nowhere near as cheap to cast now, so this one's hurting for it, but these lasting longer should be better off for us. And we've lost a small portion of our strength, all told. To say that being dead is the worst amount of strength. And we can actually fix a little bit of that because we've got enough capacity that we can slap on Power Drift. Which is just nice to have. That was red. Cheers. Ooh. Shaving helps exfoliate, which helps with youthful appearance, I guess. I don't shave the top of my head, you might notice. But yeah. Augur Secrets doesn't go in the Excellent slot. Does Archon Stretch make that much of a difference? Compared to what? Normal Stretch? It's still energy regen, so there's no reason not to have it. And in terms of range, more range is usually very good for these things. Secrets to replace Message. I think the duration's probably more important than 24% strength. I think the duration is probably just that bit more important. Because, like, yeah, I get it. Loads of strength, loads of good stuff. But did it look like we were struggling on the kills a moment ago? Didn't feel like that to me. Seismic Bond's the thing? True. Yep. I could open up the wiki and name any mod at this point. Why are you caring to just say Seismic Bond's a thing at me? With the channeled ability active, damage dealt by your companion increases your efficiency by 3% for 12 seconds, max 10 stacks. I guess. Yeah. I guess I could throw that in there and just get a little bit of efficiency out of it. Assuming that it actually activates at all times properly, which is a big assumption knowing Warframe. Let's see here. Additive to things like Streamline. Each stack has its own duration, so they're independent stacks. Okay. So, some options then. Alright. Not using Duplex Bond. Wasn't using Duplex Bond. That can be slapped on there as well, yeah. Duplex. One's on that. Their kills have a 50% chance of dropping energy orbs. Okay, so that's going to be useless to me. That would be useless. Everything's dead before the companion can hit it. That is a concern, yeah, honestly. To be honest, you know what, let's not even focus on that right now, because that's trying to force more in. Will this work enough as is? Simply deconstruct now that we have equilibrium. The companion's not even attacking at the moment. Can this work as is? I know that you guys have plenty of ideas as to what we can do to do more, but the first question is, do we already have enough? Let's level this up. Let's go here. If we already have enough, we don't need more. So let's see where we're at and then make decisions.
Each enemy is more powerful than before. Only.
Can I just kill you guys with a sweep? Oops, I did the hold thing. You're not. How did you summon them? There we are. Perish. Alright, that has used up most of my energy killing them, so that was kind of stupid of me. I'm gonna have to do that. Energy, please. This is my issue with low efficiency setups. You get the slightest gap in energy, and that's it. You're fucked. Oh well. Now granted, I'm not running Prime Flow, which is what that other build had on it, which helps mitigate those moments of low energy by absorbing lots during the moments of high energy.
May work here due to the circulus's proximity. If you have Warframe, you may use it.
Oh, actually got this run out. Like, why does it not have some warning sound that it's about to run out? Some kind of actual indication. Also, there's not enough enemies to cast. There we go. It just makes sense to me, you know, put a warning. Okay, this energy income is absolutely fucking dire. Holy. Well, that's it. I'm out of casts. Yep. Would I believe you're more than halfway through the game with 44 hours in the game? Okay. Sure. Not sure how you define more than halfway through, but sure. Make the shards start to glow around you. It would need to be an audio cue. I swear to God, if that just cast on the enemy instead of me. And I'm out of energy. No. I hate low efficiency for this. If you're spamming it, what the f are you supposed to do? Because even Energy Nexus for another 3 energy per second would not carry this. An Archon Stretch is 2 energy per second, just does not cover it. It's not even close to a sustain at the moment. Both audio and visual will be nice. Yeah, both will be nice. Yeah. But just goddamn audio cue that isn't just the quiet sound of glass tinkling when it runs out. Just a bye. That's how it seems. Come on. Am I supposed to know or not supposed to know? What Arcane gives free casts? Steadfast. Chance-based, but yes, can work. Would require replacing either some of our strength or some of our pure damage. Well, I could go a different route that isn't chance-based. Because chance can and will screw you up eventually. Energy is an issue in your build for sure. You didn't make a good point of that earlier, did you? You're like, oh, this build works great. It does great stuff. Look at it. It's great. You didn't go, my build is actually struggling for energy, Kenjin, despite the changes you've had to make to it already. You didn't make that clear. You're bad? Doesn't help with the sound of my 2 running out. It's similar to the sound of the 1 finishing. Turns out glass is glass. Nope, that hit nothing. Well done, Ken. What a cast. As a mission goes on, you get more and more Xmas spawns, which makes energy sustain easier. It's kind of obvious, but also kind of funny. The longer you go in a mission, the easier it becomes to maintain energy. Oh, that ran out.
Those oculists are scanning for targets. The sentient is on to you. Look out for troopers.
I'm wondering how much this Raffle Advance is necessary. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna skip using Raffle Advance in the next few minutes. See what kind of damage we get without using it. Because if the damage is plenty good enough without using it, even against a Acolyte, I will switch over to using Nourish. Because Nourish is Nourish. Oops, this ran out again, my bad. So we're not struggling for life support, we're not struggling for kill rate. Acolyte could be the question. Oh god, that kill rate is amazing. Don't go invulnerable, I'm trying to kill you. Ah, I'm being knocked down. That is frustrating. Hey, come back here. Hey! He's running away. So it wasn't a very quick kill on the Acolyte, but it was still an effective kill. Miss out on Arcade Furious, you don't have the crits. I'm still critting. I just don't have red crits. I'm still into orange because Blood Rush. So the damage has come down considerably. Fodder still dies. Xmas hold on. But it's not the end of the world. If anything, the Xmas become a conduit for influence. Oh, I let the 2 run out again. God damn it! Well, now I have no health. There we go. How you make 12 times combo? Hit enemies. Yeah. You never let Splinter expire, you can stand next to the Acolyte. Would their damage reduction not just murder that? I feel like their damage reduction would just laugh at the idea of you trying to throw a million at them. No way to go above 12? Correct. It stops at 12. Energy, we be doing good. What happened to you? Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Where's my energy? Got damn low. Oh, that hit nothing. Thanks for verticality. And I'm out. And my 2 ran out. Ah, fuck, nuggets. Actually, Venka? No, actually, Venka, because that doesn't work on Gara now, so actually yourself. No one likes it, actually. How viable is using the 4th ability to nuke? Pre-Steel Path, amazing. Onto Steel Path, takes effort. Yep, there's no orbs left. God damn it. Even with the increasing Xmas spawns, I still just completely flatlined the energy there. That was great. Seeing as energy is nice on a wash at the moment, I'll use the opportunity to reset the 2. That was a lot of life support drops from one swipe. Yeah, I feel like using the 1-4 combo to kill is just broadly a worse use of just the one to kill. Is the combo under reticle now? It is for abilities. Where's my energy? God! Fucking... This damn bloody energy system. I'm getting Nourish. Using Volt Clock? Yes. We'll be having none of you. Can I just kill you outright? Yep, there we go. Alright. The 1-4 combo does stack up your second ability at the same time though? Yeah, but the enemy should be dead before they get in range of it. What does it matter to stack up a combo that shouldn't matter? Oh, high violence. Well, this is gonna hurt. And yep, sure enough, their damage limiter comes into play.
Oculists, if they scan you, sentient fighters won't be far behind. They know you're here. Prepare for sentient fighters.
God damn it, this room has such an amount of verticality to it. Technically actually would help with the energy, as would Zenric, as would Arcane Energize. It's just another energy source. The most interesting thing is that it's an energy source that isn't using Gara, so it's actually worse.
Life support is at risk. Destroy them.
We want Gara to be able to sustain herself and not have to stop to hopefully try and farm energy out of enemies. This run out, didn't notice. At the very least, we are seeing here that Wrathful Advance isn't necessary. That's the big takeaway here. Wrathful Advance completely isn't necessary. In fact, it was barely helpful. I dare say it was damaging to the build because of the impact it was having on influence. And so, whilst we're slightly worse at killing Acolytes, it's good enough. You know, I'm going to have the mods at some point start a counter for how many times people tell me a way of generating energy. I think we might be up to about 24 now. We might be up to about 24 different people just naming an energy regen. I get it. I'm lacking in energy at the moment. I said it. I don't need you to tell me it. Just kill stuff? Oh, believe you me, we could quickly bring the viewership count on this channel down, but I think it's considered illegal to kill people just because they told you a way to generate energy. Oh wait, you mean enemies? Oh, right, yeah, sorry, my bad. I could just use dev hacks, that would work. Only if you get caught. Well, it turns out if you live stream murder, even though Nourish is comfy and effective, it's boring though, since the dilutes a CS chance ball. I don't think that's the reason I'd call it boring, but sure. What's the one that gives energy when you take damage? That would take up a mod slot. Yeah, you're thinking of Rage or Hunter Adrenaline. Just bury the bodies under protected plants, so it's illegal to dig them up. Where am I going to get protected plants? They're illegal to dig up. I can't get them. You aren't dealing with state of Gara though? What? Are you watching the same stream as me? Because... What? I don't know how to answer that one other than the fuck, dude. I was applying over, what was it, like 200% status chance? Alright. 30% base status chance, just impossible to get good status damage out of, clearly. Apparently. Alright, there we go. 1 nourish. Didn't deal status with Gara, but her ability. Alright, Petra, seriously? I'm this close to telling him to time you out for that one. Gara doesn't hurt people, Shattered Lash does. We should restrict glass. I'll have you know, it's not actually the longsword killing them. It's the damage. Yeah. It's not the longsword that's doing the kill, just the presence of the glass isn't killing them. What about Spectre Siphon? Oh god, no. That requires me to stay in one location. Ew. And it takes an augment. Ew. And it doesn't give me viral. Ew. Don't know if I said ew enough yet. Alright, so now as we have Nourish, we can take this out. We can slap this back into here. And then we have space for one other item. I could put more crit damage in there. Crit damage and crit chance. That wouldn't be terrible. Reach. You want me to add 3 meters? Kodo, you want me to add 3 meters to this? No, it's not going to interfere with influence negatively. It interacts negatively with it. Is it a sufficient negative? No. Because here's the thing, the presence of Nourish does not mean influence turns off. Makes it less likely to proc? Sure. But once it's procced and you apply the electric procs, you're still murdering everything. Now, what would really murder it is if I put a Toxin mod in, and then I lost my electric into Corrosive. Now, that would be bad. And this feels like just like the easiest option I can go with. I could add in this for more electric, but that's just wasteful. What is the viral bonus I'm going to get here? 103 plus 60% of the bonus from Augmented. 27. So I get 130% viral versus 150% electric. More electric would be nice, but I don't think it's necessary. I think Gladiator Might is probably going to be the correct shout here. We've got a lot of crit chance already coming in, actually. Would Organ Shatter be better? Quite possibly, yeah. I don't need to think about it. I can count it. Does Elementalist work? Yes. With Nourish now, is Energy Nexus more viable than Equilibrium? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. I'll run the numbers on that in a moment. Let me run on this first. So, total crit output. We've got our companion adding in 1.2, so we'll take that into account as well. So it's 2 times base. We've got currently 60% from here. That'd be 3.2, and then we get 4.4. That's where that is. Okay. And Galvanized Steel, fully stacked up, gives us another 1.2 times 2, so that's 2.4. So we'll be on a 6.8 times crit damage. Okay. Our crit chance fully stacked. Yeah, part of it's coming from there. So we got 1 plus 2.2 times 1 plus 1.1 plus 4.4 plus 1.1. All that times, I said 6.8? Yeah, it's 5.8. Okay, so this setup has a average crit multiplier of 9.82. Whereas if I go for Organ Shatter, that would instead give us that, and then Organ Shatter, we go up 1.2 to 1.8 as a plus 0.6. 9.32. Yep, Gladiator Might is stronger. We go from 9.32 to 9.82. It's better. Cool. Blue Fortress to hydrate. Cheers. There we are. No Civ Deconstructor support on Companion. Yeah, so the Companion wouldn't have applied anyway because the Companion wouldn't have got the opportunity to hit anything because it'd all been dead pretty much consistently before the Companion got much of a shout. Maybe I'm slightly off on that, but it just doesn't work out that great. No. With this giving an energy increase 2.37. So energy nexus would now be, what's that? 7 energy per second? 7.11. 7.11. So that in itself will be enough to give us another cast of this every 4 seconds? 5 seconds? Yeah, 4.5 seconds, somewhere around there. Which is not a lot of cast, but that's just that one source. Ray, Sim Deconstruct generates health orbs. Not scoops them, generates them. Also, you don't require synth fiber to scoop up health orbs even when you're at full HP because they changed that on Equilibrium a few updates back. Nice try, but no, that's definitely not what Tom was saying. Yeah, this will also get boosted, so I'll have 5 times 2.37 for the energy regen, so I'll have, what's that? Over 11 energy per second passive regen. As long as I've hit a recent stretch, that might do it, actually. Yeah, that might do it. Let's run that on there for the moment. And just see what happens. Jade, I'm hoping you just looked that up on the wiki and you didn't actually memorize the update number which changed Equilibrium. Because that's impressive if so. Impressive and slightly diagnostic if so.
Vehement, their focus impressive. Give them all warriors' death.
That one will perish. Ow! It did not perish! Fucking lived on like 1 hit point, you little shit. Do not remember giving you permission to survive that little. Other benefit with Nourish is we're getting that viral armor which should stagger some attackers. So that might also work in our benefit defensively. It's recastable. Sweet merciful joy, it's recastable. Okay, they just perished. You always forget the defensive aspect of Nourish? Yeah, it's not as big at all. It's like, it's an incremental buff. Nothing you can rely on. But it's the kind of thing where that little difference, if you were just on the edge of making it, then it min-maxes it for you. It is the essence of optimization at that level. Dax is a good buddy friend here? That they are, but I want to go where the enemies are, not where the Dax is. Waiting for enemies to get to me? Yawn. Oops, a little too slow on that, and so I don't even get to. Value of the energy spent? Oh well. Nourish is still doing Nourish things, which is great! Honestly, that energy multiplier, I can feel how much it's doing for me. This is much smoother. Re-up the nourish. Re-up this. Bang. Oh, come on, we can do better than that. Reach. I can't tell if they're out of range or if it's not actually phasing through the wall there. No, I think they were just out of range, weirdly. Yeah, we're fine. It's not LOS at all. Missing out 3 minutes from reach. Don't you start. Don't you start. Oh no, there appears to be a Jade. Whatever shall I do? I think it's already dead. Re-up the nourish. Don't bounce off that thing, god damn it. I believe Nourish AoE when being hit is genuine use to make Caliban Swarm Boys deal good damage. I'm going to try not to think about those summons. Or the frame in general, to be honest. Caliban got the refresh, and I still want a refund. I'm joking, I'm not applying for an actual refund, but if there was Caliban and Excalibur on the shelf, I'm picking Excalibur. Those who know me should know precisely what that means, and those who don't, maybe you'll pick it up from context. Or maybe not, I don't know. You might not. Does exposure work on your melee? Work on Shadow Lash? No. It shouldn't, at least. But no, things on your melee are not supposed to buff Pseudo-Exalted. Pseudo-Exalteds are themselves now. You get the benefit of what is equipped. And when you're using the Pseudo-Exalted, what is equipped is your Pseudo-Exalted. Oh, he's dead. Nourish is boosting Archon Stretch? Yes, as well as Energy Nexus. That's what I said earlier. I have over 11 energy per second regen. You can see it at the bottom right there. When I cast, my energy drops down, and then it just keeps going back up again. Yep. Archon Stretch doesn't last very long, but in combination with Nourish, then it can matter. Very nearly did not dodge that. Also, quick reminder, if you ever see those purpley blue damage numbers, and it's not something right next to me, that's something that's been hit by either Nourish for a small amount, or if it's a big number, it's been hit by Influence. Hi, you guys. Oh wow, they perish.
Extraction is ready. Hiding Yua in the void risks the unfathomable. I fear we are seeing the
There we go.
consequences of that risk now.
There was very briefly a Jade Xmas. Then there wasn't. Yeah, I think this focus on the energy regen, rather than focus on just strength, this is what's made it. Because the strength is still enough, we don't need extra crits, we don't need extra power. Just being able to keep on casting. That's what's doing it. Hey, nicely done, Queen. Congrats on beating those particular bosses in Slay the Spire. Well done. You run 139 strength pre-augmented? Fair enough. I am running... How much strength does it look like I'm on now? With augmented, I am running... 722.5 divided by 250... 289% strength. So pre-augmented it will still be 229. It's quite a bit higher. And that's a big deal because it buffs up the effectiveness of Nourish. With the energy gain. That cannot be ignored. That is a big part of the sustain here. Yeah, I think this has pretty much nailed a comfortable build. Nothing too crazy, no operator shenanigans, no external weapons or primers or companion energy, pseudo synth, whatever. In terms of a Gara build, this has nailed it. Is it level cap? Hell no. Do I care about level cap? Hell no. No. No, I think this has it. It just feels simply Gara. No first type of build? Exactly. One where you can pick your companion. I'm using Worm Prime. There is no reason this has to be done with Worm Prime. Damn it, too late again. So if you wanted to use Smita, Rodaza, if you wanted to use a Huras Kubro, I don't think that actually works for Gara, but sure, why not? If you wanted to use a Predacite, Vulpifiler, whatever you damn well please, you can. That's the point. Yep, that was effective. No primer, no companion shenanigans, just slippy slappy, they go blappy. That's all it really needs to it. And it is definitely much better than trying to use the 4. I mean, we could use the 4. But, yeah, it's not amazing. Now, I have got a little bit of shards on here. Not much, but a little bit. But I don't think they're making that much of a difference. It's 20% strength, 10% duration, 50 max energy. That one is making a difference, actually. And a little bit of extra energy starts on spawn, which also makes a difference. Yeah, right, I was in the middle of saying them! Holy shit, dude, I was in the middle of listing them. Christ. Come on, man. You're actively listening to me and felt the need to list one of my shards when I just hadn't got to naming it. Come on. Caspi is what you care about? Honestly, not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. You heard the hesitations. Man on live stream does not speak perfect fluent English in all ways whatsoever. Man watching live stream determines he has forgotten things. Ray, you are not immune to being mocked for this. I don't care whether someone's first time here or if they're a tier 3 subscriber for years. You're not immune to being mocked. For feeling the need to call out something I've not forgotten I was in the process of saying. Come on. Don't give me that, you heard the hesitations. Oh dear, dear, dear. The raffle command is working, it's just the bot has decided only some people are allowed to call it. I don't know why the bot's doing this today. I really don't know why. For some people it works, for some people it doesn't. I'm getting the impression the bot just wants to go on holiday. Which is a mood. Wait, where's the...
We cannot let the worm help Varuna. Tenno, the void has summoned a new presence and it craves our life support.
There it is. I was looking around trying to compare to the minimap. I just genuinely couldn't see it. There we are. Yeah, there's still a plat raffle. Exclamation mark ticket gives you a chance to enter it. I say a chance because if the bot ignores you for that as well, I can't help you. It should work. But then so should raffle. So, Zom, I'm not sure what your question is. Sorry. I think I don't need to take this mission any further, to be quite honest. I think we could see the effectiveness of this. Simple as. I'm not even struggling on the energy regen at this point, so losing a little bit of strength in the shards would not be a concern. So long as I keep my abilities up, that was great. Yep, that just kills him. The sentient scanner thing, you killed him with Operator. I didn't kill that, I killed the thing that was draining life support. It's just, I was looking around for where it was and got distracted by the sentient scanner thing. Yeah, there was the Thrax. He's blind? You're not blind. It was genuinely hard for me to see the Thrax as well. It's why I took a moment to kill it. I genuinely couldn't see it too well. Code to say if you fit flow into your build, you can use 2 purple shards plus 74% crit damage, but total optional. Plus 74% critical damage. Not sure where you're getting 74% from. I'll be quite honest. But we can have a look at shards in a moment. The extra crit damage also might just not be necessary. I think using blue shards for energy would be better than flow in this case. Just because we don't need that much max energy anyway. A little bit sure, but we're mostly on passive regen here. And so the max energy is just giving us flexibility to cast more at once before the regen fully kicks in. So 7.5 times 2 is 75. Oh, so it's just typo. I was wondering why 74 specifically. People end up with a lot of blue shards. True, blue shards do drop like candy compared to how much people use them. Yeah, I'm satisfied enough. Let's get out of this mission. Let's pop out of here. I'm not going to try it against a Demolisher because I know it's going to be the same as with Atlas and just massively disappoint me. So I'm just going to completely ignore that Demolishers exist for this. Oh no, my 2 ran out. Whatever shall I do? Oops. No! That was not supposed to happen. There we go. My bad. Got a little too excited there. Oh. That's a couple neurodes. Hello, Zalochi. Welcome on in. So I thought that was intentional until you turned around. Yeah, I didn't want to just keep going. I want to keep going there. I was like, just Ordis watching from the orbiter, just watching me go, whee! Fall into orbit around the goddamn moon. Yeah. Not great. Oh dear. Alright, so. Revisit this one more moment. In terms of bits and pieces here, so if we were to fit Flow into the build, Flow could replace Organ Message, but I feel like losing 24% duration for the energy max is probably not worth it. Yeah. What was the KPM? Oh, good question. We left at 13 minutes of actual survival time, 13:31. And total kills, 18:55. 18:55 divided by 13 minutes 31 seconds was 137 KPM. Which I'm pretty satisfied with. 137 KPM on that mission is pretty damn nice to say that was entirely using Gara. Didn't rely on the melee, didn't rely on primary, didn't rely on secondary, our companion wasn't shooting, it was Gara. Pretty good. Does Gladiator, Aegis, and Bloodrush still work together? Gladiator, Aegis? Gladiator Aegis plus 40% armor. Yes, the Gladiator set works with Blood Rush. Gladiator Aegis? I feel like there are better things you can do with your mods. I feel like there are better things you can do than that. Yeah, the defensive effects are not worth the mod space. But yeah, set effect mods do work. If you put a set mod onto your Warframe that affects melee, it'll affect your normal melee, and it'll affect your exalted melee. If you put a set mod onto your melee, it affects your melee. If you put a set mod onto your exalted melee, it affects your exalted melee. It's really as simple as that. The active weapon gets the buffs from the active weapon, not the inactive weapon. Things which are designed to cross weapons, like for example, secondary dexterity, they cross weapons. You get killed with melee, your secondary gets a buff. But if it's not designed to cross weapons, it doesn't cross weapons. Really as simple as that. Any crit take clever helmet? Yeah, no, we actually took that out because having the energy to keep going is more important. So we had enough to kill without needing that. Gara has sufficient crit stats that putting in Raffle Advance, yeah, it massively boosts up the crit chance, but it doesn't do enough for the damage to be worth what we lose in the process. This is different to, say, if you have a really low crit chance, Ashe, who can also get a really high crit damage, Crepuscular because Ashe is invisible. Gara has neither of those things. She's not got a terribly low crit chance, she's got 20%. That's actually quite workable. And then a 2x crit multiplier, which cannot work with Crepuscular, so you don't have lots of crit damage just lying around. So, Raffle Advance, it did increase the damage. Noticeably increased the damage. It took us from hitting Eximus and then them dying to influence to straight killing the Eximus. Which also was a problem, because if they're dead, they don't become conduits for melee influence. So Raffle Advance not only wasn't giving us a suitable bonus, it was actually hurting us, and hurting us through not having the opportunity to gain energy through Nourish. Overall, melee influence was actually the worst choice. Not melee, Raffle Advance was the worst choice. Nourish is simply just too damn good. The viral bonus is nice, it means we can offload viral so we don't need it on our weapon, or we don't need to use a primer, we can still have viral there for the things that survive. And then we have the energy regen, which is just... it's just bonkers good. Quite frankly, it's bonkers good. Look at that, 2.37. Hold on. Did I... oh. So when I looked at the energy regen bonus, and I said I was getting about 11 or so energy per second regen, it turns out that I forgot that that's only the base strength. This isn't taken into account when Molt Augmented comes online. Molt Augmented is going to give us another 0.36 on the multiplier there. So it's actually 13.65 energy per second. Yeah. Why do I need this thing? Say, though you could ditch influence, use exposure for a pure crit build. Okay, yes, but no. Exposure doesn't actually give you anything more on the crit. It doesn't. So unless you're suggesting that with Raffle Advance, doesn't help. And then we run into the same issue that Atlas ran into. Yes, sure, you can use exposure and deal more damage directly, but the enemies are already dead, so you don't need that. At the point that the enemies are not immediately dead, melee influence gives you an even greater effect, because you'll be applying the electric procs and then exploding it into a super AoE. So it actually reaches that point where exposure doesn't give you more. If you weren't already one-shotting, influence is just better. I'm sorry, Zilotch is saying, if you have problem with energy, I know Lex Incarnate is Grieti weapon. I didn't even use it in the mission. But you can help you using Grimoire. I know it's a stupid idea, correct, but I'm using it for Jushy 10% energy regen. Sarcastic. What is Grimoire? And that, I know that's supposed to be energy regen per second, but at this point, hold on, was that you attempting to spell grimoire? Oh, please, I want to be nice about this, but holy dooly. Good God. Aye, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Grimoire. I can't. I fucking can't. It spelled it in Old English? Old Simlish. I'm not renaming it. I'm not renaming it. You can do that yourselves if you wish to herald the moment forevermore. Oh man, wow. Anyway, thank you very much for your suggestion as to how I can regenerate yet more energy. I don't need to because I already have the energy setup I need now. Whilst trying to create a setup which is just Gara. The whole point is that the primary, secondary, melee, and companion can be what you want them to be. I'm giving a workable Gara that then someone with their own preference can build upon. If you need to have a specific frame with a specific weapon, with a specific mod setup, with another specific weapon, with another specific mod setup, with a specific companion, with another specific setup, with a specific Konami combo of actions to take, I'll be quite honest, I'm exhausted thinking about it. Just exhausted. Can I hover over the shards? This one matters, the others don't. Those were just stab buff shards, they don't matter. Can you replace Warframe with a different one with this build? Yeah, you can switch shit for normal Gara. Yeah, then. Cheers, Salvatore. ADA, ETA, Gara, eligible for use with other weapons? Exactly, yes. This is a build that would work in Circuit, work in Deep Archimedia, Temporal Archimedia, because you don't need other things. Exactly. And so then you can fit in the other bits as you know them. How many people in this chat are even old enough to know what Konami code was? Let's not find out. Let's not. What's my guess as to what the next Prime will be when they reveal it on PAX? Let me see. Next Prime. Probably a Warframe. Yeah. I think it's probably going to be a Warframe. I have no idea. I don't keep up with them, so... I have no idea. What other infusible abilities would work with Shattered Lash? Various work, but Nourish is simply the ideal one. Because energy sustain. Alright then, let's rip this out of here. And let's go Talforge, because I deserve good shit. Let's see. Well, first I'm going to need to feed this fecker. There we go. And now, with that 75 energy max, do I want to go any further? I should be fine with that. Should be fine with that. So let's give some Talforged love in here as well. Let's go with... remove this one. We'll do it for duration. Just give it that a little bit more. Feels nice. Yeah. Just a little bit more, it's fine. So that gives us now a flat 300 energy max, and that should be plenty. This is 31, this is 62, this is 62, so even if you needed to cast a full suite of those, that's what, 125, 155, 156.25. With just slightly more than half the max energy, you can cast the whole suite. That's fine. You still get surprised whenever you hear me swear? So you still think I talk the way I do in my videos? Yeah. I don't swear on the videos, but live streams, fuck it. I could try and filter myself harder. I could try and reel it back in. And I really cannot be bothered with that. I really can't. Because it doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter. And the only reason I do not include the expletives over in videos is because, well, quite frankly, they don't really have a place there. They don't need to be there. If I have to drop an F-bomb in a video, it'll be if I really, really need to point out just how fucked something is. But usually, it doesn't need it in a video. Whereas here, it's more of a train of thought kind of thing. Just the flow. Swearing in an informational video is a very odd thing. Exactly, yeah. Exactly. This is more conversational? Yeah. It is meant to be more conversational here. You say things, I reply. If it's a smart thing, I reply normally. And if it's a dumb thing, I say, what the fuck is wrong with you? It works. It works. What would be the best build in your opinion without melee influence? To be honest, at that point, you would just do much the same anyway. So instead of influence, you'd go exposure most likely. Duplicate might work. I haven't even tried if that would work. Let's check if duplicate works. Let's just destroy this build for a moment. Does duplicate work? Critical. I can spell crits. I've played this game long enough, I can spell crits. Let's just slap that on. Yeah, that's actually just going to have to do. 64% is enough. I just want to see if it triggers or not, that's all. So let's see if duplicate works. If duplicate works, it might be the way to go. I'll double check what the crit chance actually comes to. Might need some finagling to make it a fair shot at that. Otherwise, it'll probably be melee exposure because, hey, you're casting loads of abilities and it's a whole bunch of damage. Job done. Damage type could be whatever you damn well please at that point. Didn't mean a slash. That looked like it double hit. Not a crit. Crit and a second hit. Crit and a second hit. Yeah, duplicate works. Okay then. That is very interesting. So if you're using this setup here, crit chance base 20, multiplied by Blood Rush 4.4, Galvanized Steel is a 1.1, and Gladiator Might of 1.1, gives you a total crit chance of 152%, which is pretty much perfect. I think the ideal crit chance for melee duplicates is usually around the 130, 140%. So it's a little bit high, but honestly, that's fine. That is fine. So 152% crit chance. Melee duplicate becomes a good shout if you want the extra damage there, if you didn't want to go down the exposure route. So with that 152, you'd be double hitting 48% of your hits. And that 48% can roll into being orange crits themselves. Yeah. It would only duplicate the hits that rolled a normal crit in the first place. So let's see here. You'd have 0.52 of... I forgot what our damn crit multiplier was. I think it was like 6.8? Yeah, 6.8, so... that of... plus 0.48 times... so, yeah, 5. One moment here. I've lost track of what I was calculating, I'll be honest. It gives you a buff. It gives you a buff. Does the double hit affect your 4th? I don't see how it could. You can't crit on the wall, so no. Can the second hit roll up a crit tier? Yes, up or down. So if you have a sub 100% crit chance, then the second hit could be a non-crit. If you have a post 100% crit chance, then you have a chance of it being an orange crit on the second hit. Yes. Dropping Gladiator Might for Organ Chatter also drops your final crit chance down around 130% from multiple sources. Sweet spot for melee duplicate. Could do, but you are losing crit damage in the process. What was my main frame before Lavos? I think at that time it was Wukong. Hold on, let me grab a notepad. Let me grab a notepad real quick. Organ Shatter is more crit damage than Gladiator Might? Yes, but you also lose your crit chance. It's all a trade-off, and that's why I am running the goddamn notepad. Give me a sec. So, we got 20% base CC. Option 1 is running it with Gladiator Might, so we've got average crit of... let's see, yeah, 0.2 times 5.4. 1 plus 4.4 plus 1.1 plus 1.1. Yep. So that's 152% crit chance. Crit damage would be 2 times 1 plus the bonus from Galvanized Steel, which is 1.2, plus Gladiator Might, 0.6, plus the 1.2 from Companion, comes out to 6.8, like I remembered. Good. Which means then 52% chance of a 11.6, 12.6 crit. A 48% chance of a 6.8 times crit plus a further 52% of 12.6. And a 48% of 6.8. I bring up the notepad on screen, but quite honestly, I'm just going to get this calculated really quickly. Oh, it doesn't like doing this. Come on, Google. There we are. So that is that. The average total critical multiplier of a melee duplicate with the current setup will be 14.53. If we were to use Organ Shatter, conversion to OS. The crit chance comes down from 152% to... How much is that? 130% straight up. Okay. The crit damage increases to 7.4 as the multiplier. Which means then we would have a 30% chance of a 4, 6, 4, 12, 13.8 times hit. A 70% chance of the lower tier hit, and then a duplicate. Which, if I multiply all of this lot together, and in the remainder, comes out to average of 15.84. So switching from Organ Shatter to... Sorry, switching from Gladiator Might to Organ Shatter for a duplicate approach goes from 14.53 to 15.84. That is an increase. Yeah. Alright. There we go. We can't see with notepadding? Yeah, I said we're not. I could have brought it up, but it was just easier to figure it out rather than explain where I was going the entire time. Sometimes it's worth just figuring it the hell out. So yeah, Melee Duplicate would apply, and Organ Shatter rather than Gladiator Might would be the way to go if you are duplicating. And only if you're duplicating. Yep. You just realised Gladiator Might and Galvanized Steel are the same mods? They're very similar, yes. Surprisingly not a big difference? It's hard for there to be a big difference at that stage of modding. It's why it's a question of which one's better. Yeah. So yeah, if you are looking for a not influence approach, Duplicate is probably the way. Failing that, Exposure. And in terms of building, it is pretty much the same build. It's just Organ Shatter instead of Gladiator Might, if you are going with Duplicate, and the elements can be whatever you damn well please, because you no longer need Electric. But you might still end up using Electric anyway. Yeah, that really is the long, short, and all of it. If you wanted, you could try going for a non-elemental approach. If you're going non-influence, so to just go all in on Slash. But with Nourish present, that's not as good to do. And Slash is a little bit hard to buff up anyway, so you could do it, but I wouldn't. Suppose especially if you're still going to use the Ring Nuke. It would buff that where Duplicate wouldn't, yes. Is a Doughty build still worthwhile? No. Because Doughty can only buff the Puncture, and is a crit thing, it means that it doesn't help the Sweep, which is the way to damage with the 1. And because it's crit, it doesn't help the 2, it doesn't help the 4. So, Doughty is dead to Gara. Just dead. The only way I could see it being of any potential use, and this is really clutching at straws, is if you comboed it with something like Marked for Death, to have a really big hit on one target and have that somehow explode out. But Marked for Death is, frankly, shit anyway, so it's still no good. Still no good. Non-influence could allow for Primed Elemental mod for more damage. You could go for a Primed Elemental mod if you really wanted to, yeah. To this point, I wouldn't say that Gara's really lacking in the damage. I really wouldn't. Yeah. You guess who'd deal the most amount of single target DPS? I mean, it would, yeah. The Doughty build... Doughty does expose the maximum single target damage, or direct attack damage you could do, theoretically, because of all the crit bonuses you can get on it. Problem is, what needs that amount of focus? What needs that amount of focus? Yeah, basically nothing. So it doesn't have a place. Warframe is a horde shooter game by and large. There are boss fights here and there. There are mini bosses, but it's mostly a horde shooter, and AoE mostly wins in that regard. Because we also have some absolutely insane damage scaling, there's really no downside to AoE most of the time. Like, the vast, vast, vast majority of the time, there is no downside to AoE. That's why we use it. Doubt the screw you in particular, Arcane? I guess. I don't know if I'd even go with that, because, yeah, you could use it on Gara, but you just really don't need to. Doughty is relegated specifically to those high puncture weapons that I guess just wanted to be high puncture. Yeah. That is all that there is to it. So, what is this track? I know Mantis just requested EDM, but I don't like that in my ears. Anyway, Vacor Sound comes to mind. Yeah, there's still the weapons that would have been suitable stat sticks are now just Doughty. Yeah, just Doughty. Ceramic Dagger stays winning. Kind of. It's no longer the god of stat sticks, but hey, there's that, really. There's that. Now the question is, would I want to have any different build on Gara herself? Is there any difference screwing around I'd really want to have on her? The only thing I can think of would maybe be replacing Augur Message with Adaptation. Trading off that little bit of duration for a significant boost to tank. And that's it. I really couldn't care less for any other effect on her. Raffle Advance. Welcome into the stream. We tried Raffle Advance about 3 hours ago. Because Raffle Advance is not an energy sustain and Gara needs an energy sustain, you would need to adapt a much more thorough setup to keep up with the energy that Gara demands. So at that point you'd be looking at maybe shoehorning in a Xeneric setup rather than Naramon, using primary and secondary dexterity on your primary and secondary weapons to give yourself the combo duration to account for the lack of Naramon, whilst also making sure you have some additional energy regen, because that 5 per second from Xeneric alone probably isn't going to be enough. It's a cascade of additional things, and all of that does is gives you a little bit more crit chance. Now granted, it's a lot of it. Your crit chance will go up by hundreds of percent. On a setup that's already at 152% crit chance, if I recall correctly, it just doesn't shake out as enough. All of the extra work needed to be done to make the enemies go from dead to dead but in red. It just doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. You can do it, but I don't recommend it. Can I have say I think there's room to make a 1 focus build and a 2-4 base build, focusing more on range than the latter. A 2-4 base build focusing on more range than 235%, you say? Alright. I got you covered. I got you covered. 1 second here. Bam. Build finished. You wanted more range? There you are. That's maximum range. There is no more range. That is the range. Yeah, you could go with either one of those drift mods. That little bit of range or a little bit of strength, I don't think really matters either which way. Warframe isn't a breakpoint game most of the time. It really isn't. Yeah. So I say I'd swap Transient Fortitude for Umbral Intensify to free up the Augur Message slot. Let's see, how would that work? So you're thinking like that over there, you lose 11% strength, gain the duration, you swap that out for, what, secrets? Well, that's just an absolute buff, isn't it? Yeah, you 100% nailed it. You're correct. Sparrow? Well spotted. I did not catch that one myself. You are absolutely correct. Full credit. Yeah, that's just better. Alright then. I'm fairly certain we added 14%. Why does that say 13% higher? DE, why is your math like this? It's always transient fortitude. It's always this one. Doesn't seem to quite understand how a whole number works. Did we ever actually check that this was definitely working? I'm like 99% certain it works, but you know, if I don't actually check it, someone's gonna go, Kanjaneer, you're using an arcane, doesn't actually work. Do I have an empty build slot? I don't know why. I don't. How do I test you? Fuck it. This is how I test you. Other content creators have used it and it works. I'm still gonna verify. I'm still gonna verify. Okay, so. Oopsies, didn't want to bring you into it. My bad. I forgot that I've got tap hold switch. I've got a lot of combo duration at the moment. Let's get rid of that. I just want to test base values to make this as simple as possible. You're right, Sparrow. Something else could go there, but that was just a literal upgrade. Alright. It's 48. 154, crit. Arcane did not trigger. Just keep waiting. 154, Arcane has triggered. Okay. Wait for the buff to run out. 134. Yep, it works. There we go. That was simply enough to test. Only cost 10 plat. It's fine. There we are then. So yeah, that does work. That works. That works. All of that works. That works. That works. This all scales into that. That is great. That can be that or the other drift mod. Really doesn't matter to me. That's all fine. Over here. Oh no. Where mods? Oh wait, no, Spell Strike is there. Let's just move that over for a moment. What were the other mods I had on here again? I got Elements, I've got Slash. Was it another Slash mod? Yeah, I think it was Jagged Edge, and then I think it was Voltaic, so that it would trigger Archon Stretch, wasn't it? Yeah. There we are. Fixed it. Put those around, and then let's duplicate this one over to... Why would I be able to... That's weird. You can duplicate over to other Exalteds? Huh. I'm gonna just ignore that for now. Exalted to say melee confirmed? I guess. There we are. So, so when I duplicate things, I expect things to duplicate. This is a weird song? It is, yeah. It is a really weird one. It's called Swag Hammer. What happens with the stance in that circumstance? You can't remove it anyway, so nothing, I guess, I hope. Yeah. Alright, so for this one, we said it was Organ Shatter goes in here. That goes out for you. And Elements doesn't even really matter at that point. Now just... Actually, no, yeah, we said that you could get away with that. Oh, am I actually going to be a single point short on fitting that? God damn it. God damn it. Whatever. Didn't want it anyway. I'll put unranked and give it up. I'm not putting in another one. I'm not putting in another. But let's give the name on that one. That is no influence. There we are. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. That's everything on that one. Cool. Alright then, yeah. That's Gara. I mean, to be honest, that's pretty much a Gara guide in itself. I've completely ignored Spectre Rage this entire time, and as much as it is an energy generator, I could shove in some augment for that and whatnot as well. It just doesn't feel worthwhile compared to just kill the room and get the energy myself manually. The Spectre Rage works best if you've got some kind of scooping ability or if you're camping a spot, and that's more suited to the types of like Vauban rather than Gara. And we can't really subsume off other bits of Gara because this shuts down interactions on that, and losing this would shut down this and that, and losing this is just stupid. Yeah. Do you need Streamline when you have Energy Nexus and Nourish? It was bringing up the bringing down the energy cost enough to ensure it's all safe to use. If you find that you can go on without it, sure, go ahead. But considering the energy issues Gara has generally, I do find that that's a good idea to have that there. Say, for example, if you're in a situation where all of these run out, if you have... Let me just do that. If you have no Streamline on, that's going to cost you 77.5 energy here, 77.5 energy there, and then you need to cast this, which is 38.75. That's 194 energy. That's 194 energy to cast those three. Slap that on, that comes down, it comes closer to about 150 energy, which is a little bit more manageable. It's reducing the likelihood of running into a serious energy issue at any point. How much of a damage boost is Organ Shatter? I was considering running Prime Reach in that slot. It's a damage boost. But replacing it for Reach is not the smartest idea, I'll be honest, because you're losing damage to gain, what, about 10% range? That just doesn't seem worth it. Does Energy Nexus stop when you're in a channeled ability? Yes. If you are channeling, energy over time effects shut off. Nothing more depressing than not having enough energy to cast Nourish. It's a nasty one. Like this is how my energy happens. Why my energy has stopped energying. Yeah. Energy Nexus shouldn't stop whilst you're casting your 1, only your 4. My understanding. Race also turns off if you stop killing for 5 minutes. Okay, fair enough, yeah. Anti-AFK. Shouldn't apply to anyone here. No one here AFK is that hard. Is Shattered Storm worth having on? This one here. When break ring enemy no. No. Just no. Breach target affected, heals 15 health per second. I don't think we need that in there. No. Hearty Nourishment, clear status effects and gain 5 second status minutes for each victim, so just clear status effects, no. No, if there's any further effect to be made here, it would be to do that. If you need tank, you do that. Exactly, Zomya. The enemy should be dead. You cast that, they're dead. If they ain't dead, melee influence, they're dead. If after Belly Influence as well they're not dead, then congratulations, you found a single enemy stood on the road. Look at you like an absolute lemon. Just shoot them. Yeah. If Reach was multiplicative, it'd be worth something? Ah, nah, that's going back a few years. That goes back a few years. Harsh Nourishment does nothing. Fairly certain it says clears status effects. So it should do that, right? It just doesn't do everything after those first 3 words. It should do the actual clearing though, right? Ray, it won't die to the slash block in half second, no. Because slash takes a second to kick in. Come on, Ray. Come on now. Does anyone know if Raw double dips on her too? Honestly, not sure how it applies, if anything, helpfully at all. It doesn't seem to be too great. You don't need to shove Raw in there. You got plenty enough coming in from Nourish. Because that elemental boost will apply to the 2 because it came off of the 4, which comes off of the 1, which builds off the Nourish on the 3. So that all works. Alright, I think I've gone in circles now at this point. So it's about time we do a Platinum giveaway. Exclamation mark ticket in the chat if you've not already grabbed a ticket throughout the stream here today. Everyone can enter into it. If you could type in the chat, that is. If you've been banned, well, screw you. It's probably for a good reason. But we've not had to ban anyone in a hot minute here. So exclamation mark ticket, grab your tickets. We'll do the draw on that in just a moment. It doesn't matter if you're on PC, PlayStation, Switch, Xbox, or on mobile. It doesn't matter if you're a follower, subscriber, or if this is your very first message, like, I think that was Matej? Yeah, Matej there. Doesn't have to be your first message. Hopefully it's not your last. And the winner will be contacted here on stream, or here on Twitch, by a simple little Twitch DM. You have 24 hours to respond, so even if somehow right now this is when your cat throws up on the carpet and you need to spend the next 10 minutes clearing that up, if you miss the announcement of winning, so long as you still reply to the Twitch DM, you're all good. If your Twitch DMs are closed, okay, not all good. Get screwed at that point. It's not hard. Unless you're Petra and you don't have Twitch DMs, yes. Petra is a special case. I don't know how Petra is a special case or why Petra is a special case, but Petra is a special case. Congratulations. If you literally have no ability to receive Twitch DMs, contact Twitch. That's the best I can give you on that one. Contact Twitch. Maybe they'd like to know. Yeah. God knows how that happened for you. Become undMable? The weird thing is I could still send a DM to Petra, and this wasn't a mobile thing, Moon. This was on desktop. On desktop Twitch, Petra doesn't have the button for accessing whispers. It's just not there. But I could still send them a whisper. So, I don't know. It's about the equivalent of Petra going, people keep talking about companions, but how do you equip a companion? I'd just go, oh, you just click this button here and equip them. And then I get a screenshot from Petra and there is no companion button. It just goes Warframe gear wheel. That's how it looks. I can't explain it much better than that. It just straight up isn't there for Petra. So unless Petra, you've put your age as something low enough that you're in a country where they ban DMing, I got nothing for you. I got nothing. Anyway, that's for Petra to figure out. That's enough time for people to grab tickets whilst marvelling at this amazing story of Petra somehow having no way to send a message. But let's have a look then. Let's close our entries into the giveaway. There are 109 tickets in it today. 109 of you. Ooh. But only one of you is going to be the winner. The winner today is Hans Boomskis. Hans Boomskis, congratulations, you are the winner today of the Platinum giveaway. I'll be contacting you shortly after the end of the stream. Get a hold of your Warframe username, the Warframe platform, and if you have cross-save turned on or not. With those 3 simple little details, we'll be able to get that sent all the way over to you. All the details on how that works will be in that Twitch DM as well for you. You missed it by like 10 seconds? I mean, if you didn't claim a ticket, you missed it by a couple more than 10 seconds. Yeah. Do I do song requests? I do not. For everyone else, thank you very, very much for joining in on this stream today. Let me just switch this over to a little bit of an intermission screen whilst we load up where we can raid on over into. Where do we want to go today? You just clicked onto the stream. Oh, you missed the entire stream then. Fair enough. I can tell you missed a little bit more than 10 seconds of stream then. Just a little bit. Let's see, where do we want to raid on into today? Whilst I'm looking for someone to raid, if you are enjoying the channel, consider hitting that follow button if you haven't already. If you'd like to support the channel, hit that subscribe button. Or if you don't want to give any money to Amazon and Twitch, which I get it if that's the case, then consider heading on over to Patreon instead. Where, fun fact, also the vast majority of the sub money on Patreon goes direct to the creator, i.e. me. Whereas here on Twitch, you know, Twitch takes their cut, which is like 50%, and then there's the sales tax, whatever it is in your country, and there's the transaction fees. You know, once all that goes through, a lot less comes through to me than does on something like Patreon or a tip. So, a little bit of insight there for you, for anyone that matters to. That probably matters to like 3 people. Who do we want to go to today? The usual names I see at this time, I'm not seeing. That's curious. That is curious. Oh wait, I see why, because it's currently sorted weirdly. God damn it, Twitch. Remember my sorting settings. There's the people I recognise, and there's someone I don't. First time ever playing Warframe. Why not? Let's pop in and find out. New Bro Tenno, a lot of people joining them. Let's see what they're up to. Why not? And if it's a terrible one, well, be nice about it. But if they aren't terrible, also be nice about it. It's very simple, really. Be nice about it. It's kind of simple. Anyway, I'm rambling stupidity at this point. I'm going to just end up the stream. Thank you everyone for joining in. I'll see you in the next one on Wednesday. Until then, have a good start to your week. Bye-bye.